And hello, everyone. Welcome. And I do understand that I have to get friendly with the algorithm again. So hopefully, this show will reap many, many fruits. And um, we just have fun. And that's all that matters. So shout out to D Rock Man and Hammer. Great to see you guys. Ronald Williams already with the shits. DJ Simp hating on the Godfather. Yeah, and that shit is gonna be discussed tonight. So let me start out by saying, long live the habitual line steppers. Yes, I represent the habitual line steppers, but I also claim the Black Manosphere. Last time I went live, I was talking about little kind of a little made up condition, just basically made up to troll the haters, and I called it Black Manosphobia. If you are a subscriber to this channel, better yet, if you're not a subscriber to this channel, you go ahead and do yourself a favor right now and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button on the way in. Also, just do whatever you need to do because your weekend warrior is back. Everyone. All right. Uh, and speaking of the habitual line steppers, Roger Report Live is in the house. But what I was saying about Black Manosphobia, let me see if I can go ahead and bring that up real quick. And this was weeks ago. Maybe I talked to y'all one day about what had been going on with me, but let me assure you, and let me just put this disclaimer in: it's nothing embarrassing or anything like that, or what y'all say about the many slanders about the Black Manosphere. It was something very personal and very dear to me. So yeah, I had to take a few weeks off, take a little hiatus, and actually I was gonna come back next weekend, you know, but I was just so anxious to get back on because of everything that had been going on, and I didn't know if I was ready or not. But yeah, it's just like that. I just missed it here, and just saying that I'm glad to be able to come to you guys again, and I really appreciate the support. I stayed active in my community tab, and I got a lot of participation in that as well. So I appreciate that. It's kind of thing that keeps me going and keeps me engaged here. Now I've been showing up in different chats, dropping a super chat here and there. Some channels I can't drop super chats because I'm blocked from them. But I just let you know, even though it's like you may be being a little petty or somebody in your mod is being a little petty, I still support you guys anyway by giving you a view and listening to the information that you're putting out. So here's the thing. I've had a chance to reflect on what my actual, if we even got roles in the Black Manosphere. Um, reflect on what I'm actually doing here, because one of the questions that often come up is well, let me just put it like this: a lot of people question why certain individuals are in the Black Manosphere. Now, I'm not. This is not going to turn into a hate the Black Manosphere session, because we have plenty of those and we have enough of those already. This is just me just giving my perspective on what I have observed, and I have no problem claiming Black Manosphere. Despite all of the criticism that we get, because I don't think that people who criticize the place, criticize constructively, can always be looked at. but various slanders and hate, like trying to connect young black men who fly off the deep end to the black manosphere just because they did some stupid shit. Like I'll give you two names, and respect to Renegade One's family. The YouTuber, I guess he was claiming MGTOW that committed suicide, and well, fuck EDP 445. I mean, but the point that I'm trying to make about those two is we didn't know who those two people were over here in this space until something bad happened to them, and then people just started like trying to connect and trying to hate and everything. So just from my point of view, if anyone in this space knew who these two guys were before that shit happened, I mean, I would be staying corrected, but I would like to know if you like to put it in the comments. But I had no idea who they were. uh, so whatever. This is the very last time I'm going to mention them. But yeah, during my quote unquote hiatus, I've had time to observe a lot of things that have gone on in this space, and yeah, it's been quite wild. I can tell you, it's been quite entertaining too. And why wouldn't you want to be entertained by looking at this stuff? I mean, people want to get useful things out of what you see here, but people also like to be entertained as well. Especially us, especially black folks, we love to be entertained. So you have to approach this little YouTube thing with a bit of charisma. And because of the charisma level of some versus the charisma level of others, it has led to some feelings coming out, especially about this space, about the Black Manosphere, and about a certain popular YouTube figure by the name of Kevin Samuels. Now, let me go ahead and throw the disclaimer out there. Okay. uh, Number one, this ain't about standing up for Kevin Samuels, what y'all like to say, deriding Kevin Samuels. In fact, Kevin Samuels is a name that is said so much, and I've already said it too many times, that people should be getting tired of it by now. Honestly. I mean, I give the brother his props all day, but it's like, wow. But I do understand that there is a movement on the outside of this broadcast that, they claim that they're super tired of talking about the man, or, they're super tired of seeing seeing the man, but every other broadcast is about him. And I mean, like, I'm not judging anyone for that. I mean, if some of these guys are doing it out of respect and reverence for what the man has accomplished, and that is 100% cool. But there's also a movement of haters that are so focused on just taking this man down and making sure a bunch of I guess made up alternative facts about the man that no one has, anyone has yet to prove. It's all speculation. And it's just weird to me how persistent it is. I guess that comes with popularity. That comes with anyone that makes an upsurge like that. But I just don't happen to remember the movement against people like ABBA and Preach unless I missed something. Because they're wildly popular YouTube individuals that, or as someone recently said, YouTubians, that has been kind of leaning more toward red pill content, and much respect to those guys. But they're starting to understand that there has to be a legitimate space for black men on this platform of YouTube, because if anything, throughout the millennia, ever since we've integrated into Western culture, and yes, against our will, but as we evolve, black men, whether people like it or not, have contributed to the shaping of this culture by force, by hand, by innovation, by evolution. We have definitely made a significant impact in the way this culture is shaped over here. And some of us, should get our due respect. Just for history's sake. I'm not, you know, giving myself putting myself on a pedestal or saying it's me that needs to. Now, uh, I understand that, I grew up in an environment where I always had to earn my respect, and most black men they grew up in environments like that. Unfortunately for some, they didn't grow up in environments like that, and there's always rash decision making and mistake after mistake after mistake. And one of the points made here in the space is that's due to upbringing, and that is because of the breakdown of the family dynamic. It seems that most of the criminal element seems to come from broken families. And you cannot deny the fact that innocent people are affected by that shit. And anyone who says that the black community is problematic, that is black, should want better for the black community. Unfortunately, a lot of us don't. A lot of us like to want to get outside of the community, and then we like to point fingers. And we like our overuse of the N word. In fact, I'll just go ahead and say it. Them niggas this, them niggas that. Niggas, niggas, niggas. That's what I see on social media now. These niggas think. These niggas are so entitled. Yeah. But I will say this. I'm proud of what I'm seeing from I would say, the better parts of the black manosphere. There may be a couple of yahoos here and there that I'm still, and that's any of us. That's any of us. I don't think that a lot of us have an idea of the amount of talent that is within the black manosphere. But if people, I'll go ahead and say this, like people like I would say, let me start. Your boy Tommy, Dr. Umar, and DJ Envy, and old CNG. If they keep saying Kevin Samuels' name, and they keep hating on the black manosphere, which the correlation between Kevin Samuels and the black manosphere, from what I observe, is pretty wonky. It's pretty wonky, and I'll explain that, clean that up for you in a second. But getting back to what I was saying, the names I just said, if they keep talking about the black manosphere in a negative way, and they keep hating because the word is spreading, then the black manosphere is going to get out of their control. What is the ultimate goal for all the sneak, like all the sneak dissing, all the out front dissing, and all the hating? Let me put you like this. If I had a real big problem with another YouTuber, I mean, I wouldn't say anything. I wouldn't say anything, because that means that I'm thinking about that person, and I'm giving that person that kind of power. I mean, all the hating that this man has received on Facebook, on Twitter. Yeah, Twitter. Ugh. I mean, and this one's for the haters. You've done nothing but make that guy bigger. And because of Dr. Umar's annoyance with the black manosphere, and I did happen to see the Dr. Umar clip where he did say the words manosphere, and did make the correlation with black men, because I was telling somebody about this, and the first thing they said, oh, did he say manosphere or black manosphere? And I was just like, okay, well, if he was talking about the white manosphere, he'd be calling them devils and shit, you know what I'm saying? And that the word devil didn't come out his mouth. Shoot, he was talking about the black manosphere. Everybody has this beef with the black manosphere. And the reason for that is because there's a large number of people within this space that have had some choice things to say about black women based on experiences and observations with black women, anywhere from their mothers to girlfriends to just in general family members, and A lot of us, myself included, for a large percentage of it, we do not like what we see. But even the more distressing part is the amount of BWs that's on that side and BMs, black men, that are not only okay with that shit, but will attack you for saying something. That something it has to be said in a forum where the message can get out. Like, I listened to the Dr. Umar, what he had to say about, the black beta male YouTubians, because they love throwing that word beta around. And my argument about beta is the second strongest, which means that if you're not the alpha, that means that betas will be kicking your ass all over the place. And if we only use the meaning of words for what the fuck they're supposed to be for, then people would understand that. But anyway, we know what they mean by betas. That these are subpar males who aren't exactly men, they aren't exactly masculine, and that's nothing but shaming bullshit anyway. Trying to shame black men into silence for telling the truth, for wanting better for our community, for standards. Now, I do agree with the notion is that if you are sitting in your mom's basement, and I'm not hating on anybody on YouTube when I say this. If you're sitting in your mom's, if you're a basement dweller whose favorite Friday night dinner is hot dogs and Cheetos and soda and shit, and you wearing all your t-shirts get too small every 6 months, then you might not need to be in spaces like this talking shit about anyone, and that includes black women. Trust me on that. Have your shit together, because one of the things that people do around here, and it's some dirty shit, is that they look into your shit like they looked into Kevin Samuels. I mean, Kevin Samuels has been probed left and right. I'm sure he's been probed more than Barack Obama was before he had to go into office as president. Because, damn. But it's like this, folks. It's like this. This whole reaction to this man, to this man's popularity, to his upsurgence, us as black folks, and all of a sudden there's this warped sense of fairness everyone has when it comes to how we deal with other black men. It's like, oh, okay, just because he's black don't mean that we gonna actually side with him or whatever. Like, just because you're a black man, yo, you get black man. Like, let me tell y'all something, and you can let this resonate or not. I don't care. It's hold on one second. Let me get the little thing scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Should have had that going anyway. Excuse me for slipping. Let's see. There it is. Boom. Let me tell y'all just like this. You can put black. Remember this. Come real close. If you got headphones in your ears, shove them in a little bit tighter. If you can put the word black in front of just about everything except the word man. Think about it. Black bald, black cherry, black and mild, black woman, Black Lives Matter, black girl magic. Now, none of that will make you uncomfortable. Why should it? Go in a room full of people and just say the words black man. You'll get anything from an eye twitch to a what you say that for. Trust me on this. Think about it. Think if you're listening to this broadcast, think about a dude that says black man like every few sentences in a car full of people. How would those people react to him saying it? Now, if you were talking about black women in a very positive way, and this is no jealousy from me. I like people to be honest with me on how they feel, even if it's negative. Um, nobody have a problem with that. If you were to speak positively of black women, even if it's not true. But if you say anything about black men, black men, black men, there's going to be a big question mark in the air. You will be able to cut the tension with a knife. One thing that I believe that KS understands is that he's a black man on this platform. Any of us get big, we're probably going to be probed. And it's probably going to be, if it's a hater system, it's going to be 90% lies and, a bunch of gaslighting and a bunch of misrepresentation of statements. And just people just be on hater bullshit. We get that. We've been dealing with that for years. If you any kind of brother, even if you're a bit harmless, I mean, you might have something to say every now and again, like my boy SPS. Like, he's harmless, and he still get dissed by the haters. But I mean, you take a chance as a black man, period, stepping up here. Yeah, I knew that years ago. So I had to name a Facebook group, Black Men Being Brutally Honest with Everyone. 75% of the people that hit it tried to take it down by any means, whether it's making stupid ass posts. I mean, constant attacks on black men, and I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like there weren't some weirdo black men in there too, but there were a lot of intelligent black men that couldn't even get their message through because there was so much fuckery at one point. I mean, the Facebook group thing belongs to Kevin Samuels fans now, which was deactivated for a second. No surprise here. Yeah, just like I said, I asked someone one day. I was like, "Why do you assume that I'm talking about my Facebook group now? Why would you assume that this was a Facebook group just put together specifically?" And these were always the exact words people use, specifically to bash black women. She said, "Well, the name." Okay, the name. So where in the name that implies that we're here to bash black women? And she said some bullshit to imply that why didn't I include black women in the title? And I responded with, I don't go around asking black women platforms why they don't include black men in the title. I mean, I thought that I would make a place that was a level playing field for black men because there's not too many places like that. And Twitter definitely isn't. Facebook isn't. Even though people use those platforms, and that's what, respect to those platforms for whatever they're doing. I'm not here to tear down anyone's platform, and that includes YouTube as well. And I'm not here to tear down anybody's hustle, but there's a lot of stupid shit being said around here. And it's I'll get to that. I'll get to that in a second. But it's like I'll exercise my right to disagree where I see, and I exercise my right to agree where I see. And a lot of what have y'all in y'all feels, a lot of what have a lot of you in your feels is the fact that a lot of these guys are making money from cash apps and super chats. I mean, you can say what you want to say. about it. But if someone decides to reach inside their pocket and give a YouTuber some money, then what do you have to say about it? That it sounds like the YouTuber that's hating on the super chat concept, it wants people to come over to their channel and give them super chats instead. I mean, no one would ever argue with having a little extra money in their pocket. No one would ever argue with that. Mm. I think this has a lot to do with like a lot of the hate that the Black Manosphere has been receiving because they see the amount of money that some of these guys are making. And just for you who are watching, which I hope all of y'all has pressed the like button. The word is that this is they're trying to say that this is an online hate group that's making money off of the shortcomings and misery of black women. I think that was something to the effect of what Dr. Umar said. And he even said there are even some black women that are so desperate for validation that they are a part of this. Which it's like, wow. For most of the people in this space, whether they are spectators, chat participants, content creators, panel participants, I would have to say that I would have to say a large number are competent adults that can make this decision for ourselves. And it does sound like Dr. Umar, people like Dr. Umar and DJ Envy are on some hate shit. They feel some kind of way because this is a wave. This is taking over. This is an unfiltered dialogue. While I'm sure Dr. Umar is close to unfiltered, I'm sure DJ Envy isn't. And DJ Envy can get a lot in trouble, get in a lot of trouble for slanderous implications that he himself cannot prove. But you know, why do that? You know, the sisterhood can't save you from everything. You know, not even the law of the land. I mean, shout out to Dennis Sperling. I was watching him and he explained it so eloquently. But anyway, I'm glad that the word is out, that the Black Manosphere is here. And we just gonna keep growing. And oh yeah. Well, I wanted to talk against this notion right here. Shout out to Cortez Smith, Ron, Cold Black, Deshaun, Iman Perry. Dudes hating on StreamYard. People saying that if it wasn't for StreamYard, a lot of people would not have YouTube channels. Which, when Hangouts was done away with, people were saying the same thing back then, because a lot of people started to adjust. A lot of content creators started to adjust the way they did content because they thought Hangouts would no longer be in existence. So a lot of content creators did come up on Hangouts. If they didn't come up on their own Hangout, they came up on someone else's Hangout. That's how a lot of content creators did it. They went and they marketed themselves. They networked. They networked. They went to bigger channels. They spoke their piece, and they brought some subs from those bigger channels to their channels, and that's how they grew their channels. So when Hangouts, when they announced that Hangouts went down, people start searching for alternatives. Excuse me. I actually discovered and stumbled upon StreamYard on my own, searching for an alternative to the Hangouts, because I was really with the group conversation type feel. And, there were many different personalities that had interesting things to say. So I actually agree with that style. As long, and I mean, like, people are looking for production. People are looking, I looking to be saved, and as I get to that in a second. But yeah, so everybody that thought that Hangouts was going to be done away with started to get themselves together, started to do a little bit of edited stuff here and there. I mean, I came in with edited. I came in with edited. Hangouts was secondary for me at one point. So, but I started using Hangout to do like news broadcasts and stuff. And yeah, I know I have to produce more content, but hiatus. So I'm back, y'all. Anyway, so people who adjusted and started doing edited content, they got on a little high horse. Yeah, you got to evolve your product and blah blah blah. Yeah, I understand that. I understand that you have to evolve your product. If you're going to make it on a media platform that is visual, you have to improve the quality of your product, which is one thing I do understand. But I also understand this: if you are someone who is thriving on a StreamYard and you're doing better than some of these guys doing edited, then some of these guys need to shut the fuck up for real, because it's like this. If they think so little of StreamYard, but guys that just do StreamYard are able to draw a big audience and able to keep that audience engaged for a moment of their time, sometimes 3 and 4 hours at a time, then people who do edited content that can't get those many views need to shut the fuck up. Seriously. And also, some people need to remember where they came from and understand that a lot of guys, they are on the way up, so they need to, get in the rhythm of things so they can find better ways to do things. Because some of us have to do this as a single man effort. I do understand that myself, Roger, Donnie, Darth Skater, and Sister George are the habitual line steppers. We're a team, but we got separate stuff going on as far as all our channels. So it's still a large amount of work. Content creation, coming up with topics, keeping the audience engaged, having willing participants who actually can pull up the actual facts backed with numbers, with reference points. Intelligent people. Like, here's one thing. Here's one thing that I don't like that people say. They say that we're here just to pay our bills and to race hustle people and pilfer money and shit like that. Most of these guys over here in this space already got jobs. I got a job. I mean, I'm not dependent upon YouTube. I mean, I'm still like a relatively smaller channel. So, there's certain things that, yeah, of course, they're going to be factual to this channel. But I would say somebody who was a big gun would have more to lose. So why are we piping off? Why are we piping off? The one thing that really needs to happen, and trust me, I'm not trying to be a spokesperson for any of these places or any of these spaces on YouTube. The one thing that needs to happen is a little bit of cohesiveness. Know that there are smaller guys who are on the upsurge that are happy to be here and happy to be part of this space. I understand that this space has some issues. I understand that. Trying to stick every malicious thing on this space thus far, thank God it has not been working. But some of you guys have really been trying. The Ghost of Hip Hop Future. New J. Cole album dropped. All right. We should have checked that out when I can remember it. Anyway, I see 25 watching. I hope I got at least 25 likes. I'm not really looking at this point. But I'm just saying, once again, I'm glad to be back doing this. And It's cool stuff. It really is being on this platform. Um, the conflict, a lot of the conflict, it really isn't necessary. A lot of the black manosphobia. I mean, you know, like I said, I made that term up, but it seemed to be something that's spreading. It really is. Why would DJ Envy want to show out like that? You know, see, here's the thing. You know, get off the knee jerk reaction, because this is something that uh, plenty of us here in this space, and if you've been on social media long enough, maybe in the past 10 years, you've seen that stuff before. You've seen those kind of comments made whenever it comes to a black man who has shared his truth with, you know, the world that isn't favorable upon, you know, black women. But, you know, Kevin Samuels, I don't even see it as bashing what he does. And I would say pretty much, I said this was the same thing with the same problem with Tommy, you know. I would tell everyone, look, go trash the information, prove that it's false, debunk them, both. Take these men down by proving that they are factually wrong. And you know, every time I would tell someone that, I would always get those, you know, homoerotic responses like, "Well, you need to just hit your knees and suck them off, then." Boo, 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 you know. And it's just, that's not just the thing with Kevin Samuels. They do that to black men all the time. You know, various black people, including a lot of bitter BWs, calling black men gay. I mean, I would think within a decade that, you know, people could do better with the insults and stop, instead of being so basic. But it's like this. We know that's in the shaming language catalog already. We know it. We've seen it. We've seen it literally thousands of times, from post to post, from broadcast to broadcast. Let me just say this. I don't believe Kevin Samuels is effeminate. But when you run out of things to attack a person on, and I will say this, Kevin Samuels is a person that he's I would say he's soft spoken. I'll say that he's soft spoken, meaning that he doesn't have to yell. Not like he speaks as a person that doesn't have to yell. Okay, so people will probably be thrown off by that. You know, people like me know better. I mean, the way he dresses. See, here's the problem with a lot of you guys out there. You know why you calling this man effeminate? Because your image of masculinity is a guy who walks around with big old Timbs, baggy jeans, or skinny jeans that are so skinny they can't pull it up, the underwear with the ass out, big old t-shirt, big old coat or hoodie. And I mean, like, no racist stereotype about the hoodie, but still, it is what it is. You know, backwards ball cap. You know, maybe they're growing dreads, maybe they're growing their hair out or whatever. I don't know. Maybe they got a couple tattoos. See, but I'm not saying that to slight a guy who actually fits that archetype, but masculinity has a real correct definition, and then is you guys' definition of masculinity. I mean, it seems like also you're also trying to redefine homosexuality. Like I said earlier, if only we could use words for what they really mean. Yeah, it's like, it's really stupid to say like, oh, he gay for wearing suits. He's gay for taking pictures. You know, shit like that, stupid shit like that. Everything is alphabet activity instead of actual sexual contact between two people of the same gender. That's the one gay I haven't heard yet. I mean, oh, but bitter BWs have said some wild stuff. I mean, shoot, like I've read some shit, but I mean, I guess that's what comes with popularity. So much hatred. We seem to think it's funny when other archetypes do it, and when it's done constantly to black men, we seem to think that's funny and that's no problem. But black men simply telling the truth, that's a problem. I mean, to the haters, but some of the haters are actually talented. They're actually talented people, but they waste so much time on just hating this one man. And you're calling the man gay. I mean, shit, sweating a man's nuts. That's not gay. I mean, I mean, shit, sweating a man's nuts over and over and over and over again. And I'm not even talking about like people who are his friends or people who understand how the game goes. I'm talking about all these hate broadcasts. I'm like, wow. And it's weird to me how no one ever thinks that the hate broadcasts are weird, but the support broadcasts are. Kevin Samuels fans. Like, damn, the man got almost 1 million subs. He ain't gonna have no fans? Oh, I get it. He's a black man. Black man can't have shit. Black man can't have no fans. I mean, let me speak about let me speak about me for a second. I appreciate the support. I don't call anyone fans yet. I'm very humble. Having a fan is very humbling. Okay, and I would appreciate anybody's support at this point. If obviously if you have questionable character, like some funny weird shit, you can keep your support. But the rest of you, the normal ones, the good ones, even the misunderstood ones, because keyword misunderstood. I appreciate the support, but I would never be so egotistical as to call people fans. That's a word that satiates the ego. And I would never, ever expect any of you to approach me and call me a fan. Shoot, like I have no problem with fandom. I have no problem with it. But let's go ahead and admit we're a little, it's like we're here for the fight. All of you that are here right now, you're here for the fight. So appreciate the support. Really do. All right. Shout out to Hybrid Impact 883, D. Clark. Kevin fan, D. Clark, they said hey, Kevin fans are a cult. Kevin fans are a cult. Yeah. I would say it's becoming a very cultish following. I would say one complaint that everyone has is people are using guys who are, I would say, low value men are using Kevin Samuels' talking points as an excuse to hate on black women and call them low value. For the guys that are really doing that, and I would always say, take a look in the mirror. Are you qualified to say bullshit like that? Not bullshit. Excuse me. Of course, it's not bullshit, but when the wrong person says it, when the wrong messenger delivers it, the very wrong messenger, and just use it as a way of attacking people, then yeah, it is bullshit. But with that being said, it doesn't make the man any less right. So anyway, yeah, I had something else I was gonna say. That's something else I was gonna say. Oh yeah. Claims that people are stealing each other's rhetoric. Stealing each other's talking points. I I don't get J3. Shout out to J3. What's going on? Um, I don't get why anyone would say anybody is stealing anything. It is like literally everything is stolen. I mean, if you really, really think about it, what makes anyone think that they are a special case? And that goes with me too, because like I said, and I've said this in the past, the second I stepped on this platform on one of these quote unquote Black Manosphere channels, there's a certain content creator that claimed that he purchased a trademark to the name of my Facebook group, Black Men Being Brutally Honest with Everyone, which I still have yet to see any evidence on. But but to my point, I mean, if it happens, it happens. But to my point, everything is stolen. Everything that everyone has said has been said before, many, many, many times. The reason why it's catching such fire right now is because the many, many, many times it was said before, no one was listening. Or they were said in smaller mediums. And you know how we love to cut off messages before they reach a larger scale audience. But the manosphere message is pushing through. Now, um, Dr. Umar, he said something very interesting. He said that this movement, this movement of black men who are they're basically a movement that are mimicking the feminist movement. You know how the feminist movement in the early 70s blamed black men for the effects of white supremacy on black people, especially black women. There's a movement of black men that are at YouTube currently that are doing the same thing to black women, blaming black women for the woes and the failures of black men. He compared the two. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Number one. Here's a huge contrast. Here's a huge contrast. If such, like, because it's very misrepresented. The one that happened in the 70s broke down the black community. The one that's happening now, most of which are trying to help put it back together. It's called an after effect. I used to say this about Tommy. Tommy was a response to years and years of this bullshit of constantly being shitted on, being slandered. See, the thing is, black men never had the platform to say anything. So whoever the platform was given to, they got to say what they wanted to say. And unfortunately, that was BW's. You know, and I do not believe that is representative of all, but it definitely had a profound impact on the thinking and the culture that some of us here over here are trying to put the reverse switch on. Which, a lot of people who make that kind of content over in this space are accused of preaching hope. I've heard that. Preaching hope, hoping that the black community will put it back together. People will start getting married again. Kids will start being raised correctly. Lawns will be mowed. Trash will be taken out. Men will be men. Women will be women. Everything is going to be A-OK because we hope that everything will get better. A lot of young men in this space have expressed that they don't care about that particular part. They don't care about the hope part. They don't care about getting married. They don't care about fixing things. Some of these guys say, hey, you know what? Let's make some money. Let's make some money. Let's concentrate on ourselves, which I don't have a problem with, because when you build yourself, the women will be there. Some guys are sitting in a corner somewhere, in a cold corner, mad, frustrated, beating their beating their heads against the wall, against their hand, not realizing their shortcomings, trying to defeat the talking point of every troll, female troll, every simp troll. Some guys out there are like that. We understand that too. And we know there's a large number of the younger guys. And I've also heard this during my quote unquote hiatus. I heard the younger guys saying that, the older guys failed, that we failed, that the boomers and, I've even heard Generation X, we failed the younger part of our community. And I can understand it to an extent, but at the same time, we're all still in the same struggle. So anything that goes against the unity of black males not only is counterproductive to that struggle, it should also be seen as bloody treasonous. Yeah, I think that if you rail against black male unity, I think that you should be seen as treasonous. I really do. I mean, there should be some kind of legitimate system for, making people pay some kind of, not pay as in monetary, this is metaphorically speaking, paying some kind of toll for, treasonous behavior, for railing against any kind of black unity. Because what I don't understand is that if you cheer a black man on, then it's seen as dick riding. If black men get together and decide that, hey, you know what? Good job, my brother. Big ups, kudos, my brother. Then all the haters and the quote unquote trolls will start calling it circle jerking. They're discouraging anything that black men can say or do to have productive discussions and to plan productive actions. We've had plenty of men that were over here in this space that have laid out actionable plans. I mean, they may work, they may not work. But for any of those guys, how much have you and how much have the viewing audience in any of these channels given that kind of support to those guys? Taking a real good look at those plans. And I can say I'm pretty guilty. I look at the plan a couple times and don't give it a second thought. But I'm able to come before you and say, hey, you know what? If I need to improve on shit like that, we need to improve on shit like that. Yeah, one problem is for anything to be actionable and to be executed at a efficient rate, it has to have support. It has to have some type of support. For the damage that has been done, no one man can do it alone. But you can't be counterproductive to that effort because that does not make any sense. The one thing that a lot of y'all don't want to admit is that the conversations like people like KS are stirring up, the kind of conversations I see of various, as Dr. Umar says, YouTubian, the content that they come up with, these are the kind of conversations people want to have. So, in thinking about what my role is in YouTube, like I said, I'm here to give my perspective. That's always. I'm here to give my perspective. If you get something from it, good. I'm not arguing with it. I don't ever claim to be the smartest guy in the world. So scrolling across the bottom of the screen, and I say for entertainment purposes only, which means that if you try anything I said and you hurt yourself, I am not responsible for that shit. I know that a lot of people say black men have a problem with accountability, which is nothing used no more than a shaming tactic, just like saying that, calling an old boy an alphabet person. But if you decide to try anything that anyone has said in any of these broadcasts or anywhere on YouTube, you're putting yourself at the mercy of your own decisions, which is the problem that we face in this community. You don't understand that when you make a decision, you are at the mercy of that decision. Meaning that once that decision is made, that's it. That's it. It's one and done. And a big fucking problem is that when a lot of us, and yeah, it's including BWs, yeah, of course, like we can't have any kind of changes in direction or examination without bringing them in it. I'm sorry, bringing in the behavior of the children and what is that, and where that came from. We gotta throw all of it in, even our shortcomings as black men. We got to get it together. Yeah. And speaking of getting it together, I watched that interview the other night. I watched most of it. Tasha K interviewing Kevin Samuels. A lot of people labeled it Tasha K versus Kevin Samuels, which I didn't think it was a versus. What I observed was a conversation, a level-headed conversation, and wherever they didn't disagree, it didn't turn into a skirmish. A lot of people in that chat, I was heckling, I was kind of heckling the folks in there. A lot of the people in the chat, and a lot of them were female, let's keep it real, expected the two to fight. Or not so much expected the two to fight. They expected that, Tasha K to kind of, ask ambush gotcha questions to Kevin Samuels, or, try to be the millionth person to imply that the man was, no gay, like y'all say. It's like every time I read somebody saying that, it's like I hear something that sounds like Frankenstein's monster entering my head. Because, I try to think of the dumbest way possible to read these comments in my head, because that's how they are. They're dumb. They sound dumb. But but a lot of those BWs, they wanted Tasha K to bite that man's head off, and that didn't happen. So a lot of the sisterhood was upset. They were very upset because Tasha K was supposed to attack that man, was supposed to embarrass him, supposed to be like, finish him. But that is KS. And to her, he came off as a suave individual. So, from the preview that I saw, it didn't appear that they were going to do any of that. It didn't appear that they were fighting. And, the one thing that I was kind of miffed by in the interview was when Kevin Samuels talked about the Black Manosphere. Not talked about the Black Manosphere. He didn't go in depth. He said the two words Black Manosphere. As in, when he was opening up to this whole new world of YouTube. And Tasha K quickly cut him off. Well, bad kind of trying to, is taking a low key shot at, whatever she was doing. Kind of like quickly cut away from, mentioning the Black Manosphere. And, no diss to Tasha K. I understand that there are a lot of females that feel that way, and it's just because they're female. We expect this from most of y'all by now, But, taking nothing away from Tasha K, I thought the interview was very good. A lot of people say, oh, this interview is boring because they want to see people fight. People want to see people fight. People want to see fuckery. People want to see wow. The gender wow. It's more of a war of ideas. Now, let me also respond to another sentiment. And wow, we've been going on for an hour. James Earl Moan, Raven Knight, Terrence Forrest Jr., Sir Anthony, DJ B-Side 1965. What's going on? I'm gonna go ahead and say this, and like I said, it's like I'm not the spokesperson for the Black Manosphere. I'm not the spokesperson for black men. I mean, that's something I feel like has to be appointed by the people. But I will say this: Kevin Samuels does not owe anyone anything. I didn't mark out when I heard the words Black Manosphere. I wasn't thinking, finally he's going to give shout out to the Black Manosphere. Because, Kevin Samuels has mentioned who he's needed to mention. And because, he chose to mention those people. He mentioned O'Shea. He mentioned Dennis Sperling, who I mentioned earlier. He mentioned Dr. Tiasan Johnson. Three names that are very representative of the Black Manosphere. So, dude doesn't owe anybody a fucking thing. Nobody. Okay, and the haters are the one that's spreading that shit. Oh, he ain't gonna never mention y'all. He don't never mention no Black Manosphere. He doesn't need to. Dr. Umar mentioned the Black Manosphere. So, hey, there you go. All over Manosphere nuts. Come on, guys. Just look at what you see in front of your face. Everything doesn't have to be this whole huge analysis. Like, one thing I didn't like that Dr. Umar said was, he said he usually doesn't do exchanges with minds that he thinks are of a lesser intellect. Which, I do understand that when you're dealing with hood ratchetness. Like, I don't want to have a conversation with somebody from the hood, and the only responses I'm getting is, "Ooh, why you talk like that?" Or, or myth by the fact that I'm using complete sentences with subjects, predicates, and periods of motherfucking question marks, whatever. I understand Dr. Umar to that point, the only people that want to deal with hood ratchetness on a consistent basis is people who actually, I guess, are hood ratchet. But people that like people who use that BS argument, they usually use it, they use their quote unquote superior intelligence to shame motherfuckers. Man, it really is two reasons. Number one is insecurity, because you probably, if you're sitting up there saying shit like that, you probably can't find a way to get around a lot of the opinions of what some of these guys are saying, because once you send a large number of people this way, and I think this is a point that BGS made. Yeah, I was watching BGS. I make sure I do shout outs, because we got a few people over here that's saying, "Oh, he's stealing my talking points." I don't think BGS is like that, but I'm going to give credit where credit is due. If you got like I said, this is why Kevin Samuels is so big, because all of his haters, people just hate. But when they go check out what the fuss is all about, and then they actually hear what he's talking about end to end, that's what Kevin Samuels said when he was clapping back at DJ Envy. Watch what I say in the end. And get out of your feminine feelings. Those are his exact words about DJ Envy. I mean, hey, you know, it's all over the place. And then I know what some people saying, Kevin Samuels is because of feminine, you know. I mean, hey, just ask Tasha K what she thought about Kevin Samuels. Just, you know, that's a lady, so. Yeah. DJ Envy, boy. Yeah, it's like I don't get it. I just don't get it. It's but then again I do. Okay. Like I said, mainstream media is probably if this whole Black Manosphere thing continues to grow, mainstream media is going to be turned on its head. It's going to be turned on its head. It is going to be every effort to stop the message from getting out there. Believe me, Dr. Umar, DJ Envy, they're not the last folks. I mean, even like Black Girl Sketch Comedy, whatever that show is named, that show on HBO. They made fun of Tariq Nasheed. Gabrielle Union was on that skit. I'm like, Gabrielle Union, oh God. So yeah, what I'm saying is it's coming. It's coming, and this is for the content creators. This is for people who frequent the Black Manosphere or even frequent the anti-Black Manosphere channels. You know, might be an opportunity for y'all. Y'all might want to join forces with the other haters. Shit. Robert Delson. Umar is not above anyone. A lot of these dudes are taking care of their kids. Yeah, shit, I'm taking care of mine. Shit, you know. They in the other room sleep. Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, you know, life is very complicated for the Black man these days. Because when you step on this platform, the sad part about it is you're taking a risk of exposure. So, you know, just a word of advice, and this is for myself as well. You know, we all need to stay on our P's and Q's. Because, I mean, like, these motherfuckers in this space and on the outskirts of the space looking in, them motherfuckers worse than the FBI. And they gossip more than bitches do. I mean, shit. They talk about the Black Manosphere gossiping. Like I've told all of y'all in the past, type Black Manosphere in your YouTube search engine and look at what you come up with. Well, I tell you, it's insane. But it's making us bigger. The one thing that you don't want to do is give your hater an attention. You know, like they say, don't feed the trolls. I mean, not say don't give hater attention, because yeah, you're actually, yeah, that's kind of like feeding the troll. But bad people don't realize bad publicity is still publicity. The Black Manosphere is actually taking over the name of Manosphere. And let's see. I think that from what I've observed, in many instances like this, a lot of the hate is coming from a fear, and it's fear and it's perception. It's fear and it's perception. I actually accused like a chat of having a chat full of males, like, and I say smug things about some of the fickle things I see being said about the Black Manosphere in chats. Now, if someone is explaining it thoroughly, then, you know, that's cool. But in chats, it's like people say the goofy sphere, blah, 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 and all this other stuff. And, you know, I'll see the little snide comments about marriage, which I started to think about it. And I was like, the ones that usually I see on social media hating on marriage are like bitter hair hats who got like 5, 6 kids by like 8, 9 different guys. So what I figured out about them is like, kind of a modification on something I've heard Roger say, but we've talked about this many times in the past. A lot of these men just see life through the lens of a female. Basically, they're scared of what women will say about them if they actually are able to express their honest viewpoints. Something that I can say for me that I'm over. I don't care about being called names, being called out of my manhood or anything. Although I do have a tendency to command respect. It's like it doesn't like break me down, or everybody thinks that every time you say something about a black man, it just breaks us down and make us cry or something. That's where that fear comes from. It's like it's indoctrinated in us because that's all you ever used to see in the media. Every time a BW goes off on somebody or really just gets angry and just start yelling and shouting and stuff, that the man becomes very fearful, like, oh man, she gonna kill me, or something like that. So that shit is extended into real life. And, it's like this. Every time brothers, not necessarily in the manosphere, but any brother that has their eyes open and able to call shit out. I mean, you ain't necessarily got to be red pill to be able to do that. Any brother. Yeah. I mean, they're going to get attacked by women. And whether those brothers are right or not, there's going to be a collective of brothers who are so afraid that they're going to be so afraid that they would even go as far as to attack the other brothers, even though they know these guys are right. Just because they know how to call out certain behaviors. That's why they call you guys simps. I don't see conceivably how a guy can say that they love black women and attack black men. Why y'all attacking these black women? Blah, 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 blah. Fuck y'all niggas, blah, blah, blah. Y'all gay. And blah, 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 blah. Conceivably, I just don't see it if what the brother is saying is right. I just don't. But hey, you know what? I'm one out of billions. Anyway, I'm about to, let's see. Yeah, I'll open the panel. I'll open the panel. How is everyone tonight? Hope everyone had a great week. Hope your loved ones are safe and secure. Yeah. 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 But yeah, this whole Black Manosphere thing, I would say that yeah, it is an opportunity, and for those of us that would love to see the place flourish, which is going to do anyway, I would suggest that we get our shit together and show some solidarity. Yeah, dudes be that's right, Cortez Smith. Dudes be scared. Like, ain't no need to be scared to share or reflect an opinion. It's like, I know I posted this Bruce Lee quote: "Have the courage to be disliked." I mean, it's something that you shouldn't shoot for, but at the same time, the risk that comes with telling the truth. I'm not particularly a fan of the reaction. I mean, people who are considered trolls, I really don't really care about all that. But at the same time, if I have a point to make, I have a point to make, and I'm one that's always been able to admit I mean, at least most of the time, if you're able to debunk the information, then I'll say, hey, I was wrong. Yeah. But see, the name of this broadcast is Kevin Samuels. I mean, Kevin Samuels is Dr. Umar, and DJ Envy hating on Kevin Samuels, like typical Kevin Samuels fans, haters do. Sorry. Yeah, cause once you've been in the media for a while, I would say that more is expected of you as you as you grow and become more and more in tune with the public. That more should be you should expect more of yourself because you have a reputation and a public image to uphold. And for what DJ Envy did, trying to imply that what's his name is gay, and he was kind of pilfering for clients as he tried to make it seem, begging for clients, which could damage his brand because DJ Envy, let's go ahead and say it, he has a ton of outreach, and so does Dr. Umar. So anything that those two guys say is potentially you're gonna have to defend against because here's the thing. Here's the thing, man. I'll use me as an example again. In Facebook groups, as a matter of fact, sometimes it didn't take but I don't know an hour to kick me out of a Facebook group. Anywhere from 30 seconds to an hour. Because people get wind that I just simply created that Facebook group. So people will have this judgment and will have this opinion of me before I even get to say, hello, my name is. People have time to marinate on their hatred of a person that they don't even know. The potential danger in someone like DJ Envy and Dr. Umar constantly saying negative things. And yeah, Dr. Umar did interview with Marcus Lamont Hill when he brought up the manosphere. And Marcus Lamont Hill is kind of simpy himself. Let me give you a little quick fact about Marcus Lamont Hill. Remember when that news reporter said Nakers, that white woman? She said Nakers. Marcus Lamont Hill, Mark Lamont Hill, whatever his name is, defended that woman. The woman said, I ain't mean to say it like that. And Marcus Lamont Hill, he was like, I believe her. So Marcus Lamont Hill is doing this interview with Dr. Umar, and Dr. Umar just went ahead and said manosphere. So anyone that utters the words manosphere that was in the earshot of that interview already has, they already know that there are people who already have a predisposed opinion about it. Because if those guys like Marcus Lamont Hill, Dr. Umar, and DJ Envy are able to reach that many people before representative of the black manosphere are able to reach them, one of two things will happen. There are going to be a lot of people that's going to come to this space and actually see what we're saying and actually agree. That was a point thrown out by O'Shea. Shout out to O'Shea. But what they'll definitely do, they'll come over here and they'll already accuse us of this being I would say, an online hate group that does nothing but bash black women. Because, according to a lot of people on social media and Facebook, it's Facebook. And Facebook definitely is not the same that it used to be 3 years ago. According to a lot of people on Facebook, I'm just a guy that sits here, and I stay on Facebook and I bash black women all day, every day. I've been a very busy guy. I mean, shoot, I do have to take the time out to urinate, which is all the response that I need. And it's only because sometimes when I share my opinion, if depending on the subject matter, if it's not favorable of BWs, then there are people that don't like that. And I've been pretty even tilled. Like, people don't see the things that you do. They only see the things that you don't like. They don't remember, it's like the saying goes. People don't remember what you do. They only remember how you made them feel. And people feel some kind of way about the truth, especially BWs, especially simps that want to hide everything. You know, one question I hate: is this problem just local to black people? Even if it's a problem that black people are having, you always got that one or two that say that bullshit. Like, you're not supposed to care because other groups of people do the same dumb shit. Like, it's so stupid. People fight to kill the conversation, just like they're gonna fight to kill these Black Manosphere conversations. They're fighting to silence KS as much as they can at an extreme rate, furiously, without mercy. But that man just keep growing and growing and growing. So sitting back and looking at the haters, I mean, it's funny because, like I said, the more you hate, the more you get the man name out there, the more famous you make the man. And since Black Manosphere is now, the name is now being said, shit, there it is. There it is. It's up to us to take the ball and run with it. It's up to your favorite content creators to take that ball and run with it. You know, do good by our brethren. Oh, what? Deshaun, what? Mark Lamont, the same dude that said men can get pregnant. Oh, God. Oh, that bullshit. Oh, that's a whole nother conversation right there, because that conversation is a whole mess. It's a whole mess. Yeah, Deshaun. Yeah, I hate it when we're talking issues within the black community, and you will have that one that comes in with "we're not the only BS." Why don't our people care about why don't they care about what happens to us? It seems highly apathetic when people say the whole is this a problem that's just local to black people? Because maybe you feel maybe you're guilty of the behavior that's being called out if you are that sensitive about it. I mean, who would want to see better for our community? Who would? Like, what would be the point of stopping the conversation? A lot of people say, what is the point of having the conversation itself? What is the point of these guys who continue to bring these things up? What is the point? Okay, well, my question is, what is the point in stopping the conversation? What would that produce? That would produce nothing. We're to this point because we were always afraid to have these conversations. Too chicken shit to admit that anything is wrong. That's a challenge a black man has to face. That's a challenge that make people go full throttle like KS. because we should not be reacting that way at all. If there's a group of BWs that feel like that they're not to blame for anything when they are clearly to blame for some of it, shit, that's a problem. It's problematic when you're a male that has no ambition, but you decide to make a few kids. It's a problem. It's also a problem the way we shame smart people, like I was saying earlier. And let me reinforce this. The reason why y'all don't like this, and the reason why the haters don't like the whole Kevin Samuels upsurge and him being like what they like to call a leader in this space. The reason why they don't like this because they want the image of a quote unquote real nigga to take that over. And that's like one problem that many of black men have run into. That's a problem I ran into dealing with people. That the masculine image or the masculine image that a large majority of our people have is a pookie, a quote unquote thug, a gangster, a real nigga. You're gonna look at KS and then the first thing that's gonna come to mind is real nigga or a pookie or anything like that. You want every black man to look like a fucking thug. You want every black man to look like a pookie. You want every black man to be a walking stereotype. And that's the only thing that y'all see for brothers. Like a lot of you do. You see that as a masculine image. What I see is a man that will attack you 10 times before they attack a white supremacist or a racist white. That's what I see. That's what I experience. I experience guys like that being tigers to people who they think are weaker than them, but shrivel up like kitty cats to the quote unquote ruling class. And it works every fucking time. These guys, these quote unquote guys with all of this hood bravado, and the guys that say, oh, these females can tell whether you're a real nigga or not. Guys that think just because you wear glasses that you're some kind of dweeb or some kind of nerd. Just because you got a little gray hair in your beard, and I got a lot of gray hair in my beard, that somehow you're too old to hold farts in and urine and shit and taking Geritol and yeah, you got one foot in the grave and shit like that. Those kind of limited mentalities. Those guys that say they got game but don't never mention they are mad and no shit like that. Talking about you got game, man. I ain't never heard you talk about no Tekken, dog. That was a corny ass joke. I mean, shit. What I see from those guys is hypocrisy. I see those guys say they're one thing and they improve in the next fucking second that they are a whole nother way. Don't let a lot of these guys fool you in here. Like they have all of this pussy control. Because that's kind of a response to them saying that the black manosphere is full of guys. All they do is whine about not getting pussy, not being able to have a girlfriend, being rejected in high school. These guys play like they got all this goddamn pussy control. You know what happens when they run into that one female? They lose their shit worse than those guys that they talk about are a part of the black manosphere. That do nothing but whine and cry about black women. Shoot, I seen a guy that claimed that he got all this game, all this clout, all this money. And no diss to him. He's a content creator. I mean, he pretty cool guy, but that particular time, he lost his shit way too bad. There's a certain female content creator. I'm not gonna say her name, but her last name is X. She cracked a joke on the man. The man spent like an hour trying to recover and finally just exploded, left the broadcast, and he left the broadcast with these words right here. Fuck the manosphere. One of these game players. One of these guys that swear up and down that they got all this pussy control. Oh, yeah, they got all the game in the world. These are main guys they be talking about, man, don't let these females get to me, man. I'm talking about they so full of shit. It's ridiculous. They'll go off or they'll try to use, a guy that they say, oh, the black manosphere as a shining example of how they got all this pussy control. But the second they run into that one female that they quote unquote can't control, then it's all these problems with the black manosphere. Why y'all let females over here? Females have infiltrated the space. And then and then these are guys that all of a sudden they start bringing up the stats and percentages because they mad. 65% of y'all got different kids by different guy. Like, even though like a lot of those stats are true, then they using them superficially because they upset because they running the one female that they couldn't game. After they spent all that time talking about fuck the black manosphere. These females are right about you guys. I was like, all right, well, thanks for letting me know that you're gynocentric. I use the word gyno. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Just to let y'all know, they use the word gynocracy in a very smug way when referring to the black manosphere. They always talking about the gynocracy, the gynocracy. I just want to let y'all know that. Black women are not just a problem. I mean, I understand that. Shit. I like the evolution of the space. Oh, look, it's Tommy. What's going on, guy? I like the evolution of the space. I do. It's becoming more and more interesting. Son is hot raw. Please be respectful of the host in the chat. I mean, it's all good. I mean, people have their own opinions about everything. So, I mean, I've seen some pretty spicy shit. I'm not saying that he's spicy or anything, but I've seen the way he's carried on in panels. Whether they're justified or not, the jury's out. But thanks for visiting the broadcast nonetheless. DJ B-Side 1965, Hit Dogs Holler. Black women are enabled by white supremacy, so it is in fact a gynocracy. The thing is about that word gynocracy, I don't know. It's just like, by definition, gynocracies are functional. I mean, they're functional. Do you see what they're actually doing is functional? Is more chaos, by the way. It's chaotic. It looks like they don't know what the fuck they're doing. A gynocracy is more organized. I mean, if it were a gynocracy, it'd be them making the decisions by themselves. But hey, call it a gynocracy if you want to. Hmm. But this broadcast is named Dr. Umar and DJ Envy hating on Kevin Samuels like typical Kevin Samuels haters do. The only point that I'm trying to make is basically by hating on them, you're making them bigger. I mean, it's just a fact. By hating on that man, you're making him much bigger. If you don't want him to become bigger, why say his name? All right, guys, what's going on down there? Okay. All right. All right. All right. Let's see. We got 33 watching. Let's see. Got 39 likes, 2 dislikes. Okay. I guess I'm not too rusty after weeks of being away. 2 dislikes. That is awesome. All right. All right. Kev, if Tommy disrespects me one more time, I'll time him out. Don't do that. I know that you've been here for a minute, bruh. But that's just no. Don't block him. Don't block him. Don't block him. Just let him say what he's gonna say. I mean, this is what we've come to expect. I've seen this before many a times. That's just who the guy is. So, so there's just nobody block anybody right now. Nobody block anybody. No, if I mean, whatever, whatever. Southeast Dusty issue. What's going on? All right. All right. So, I will say one thing though. Why? Let me ask the chat a question. Why is it that you feel that the black manosphere is hated, and why you feel what you feel the issues are? Do you feel like it's a great space? Do you feel like that the space needs to go away? Do you feel like it's not a black manosphere? Let me go back in these comments. Let me go back in these comments. Let me go back in these comments. Uh, oh, okay, there it is. Uh, he said, "Y'all will defend KS no matter the cost." I see. Mm, I'll say this. I didn't. I will say this. I didn't say Tommy Sotomayor sucks because of what he said about Kevin Samuels. Your opinion is your opinion, bruh. I mean, I've never really railed against you. There are now. I'm going to go ahead and be clear. There have been people on this panel that have mentioned your name in a negative way. Which, you know, a lot of people have mentioned your name in a negative way. I'm sure that's something that you are no stranger to. But there have been plenty of people that defended you also. And a lot of people have had a lot to say about that. And like I said in this, and I don't know if you heard me say this, I said yourself and Kevin Samuels is the result of decades of that shit from them. So why, you know, if they're really that touchy about it, then debunk the information that you two guys are giving. But I do feel like even though you two both have different approaches, you are working toward the same end. Now, I'll go ahead and admit myself that I have made the claim in the past about you, Mr. Sotomayor, that because of you and your controversy, that it was very difficult for black men to step up on this platform and not be called a Tommy Sotomayor. Now, that might be an indictment of the influence that you have had, you know, as far as black YouTube is concerned, because you've definitely done your thing, and not everybody agrees with your methodology or your thought process. But I said this before, and I'll say it again. When I first made that Facebook group, I got so tired of being compared to Tommy Sotomayor, it was ridiculous. Any black man that said anything got compared to Tommy Sotomayor. Any black man that said anything got called a wannabe Tommy. Anybody. And I mean, like, Tommy is somebody that's made the claim that everybody's trying to be like him. I wouldn't say I was trying to be like him stepping on this platform, because word on the street, all he does is bash black women. You know, if you would take it from someone else instead of actually watching his content, you would say that all this man does is bash black women. And yeah, I know what that's like. Not saying that, you know, that I've made nearly as much impact as the next person. I've made a pretty significant wave on Facebook for a short time, but what does that mean at the end of the day? I just came up here being me. I even had another YouTuber on YouTube said that my group was nothing but Tommy Sotomayor's bastard children. And that really kind of insulted, because that's not really, because that's not really seeing me as an individual right there. It's actually projection, because what they do is they lump every black man into one box. Like, if one black man says something, they punish the collective of black men. Yeah, just like if you say one thing about one black woman, then you got all these black women getting offended. That's them projecting that shit on us. So every time a black man steps up on these platforms or on Facebook and they're super adamant about what's going on in our community, they're always saying, oh, they're trying to be Tommy. Yeah, I get sick of that shit. My name is Kev. My name ain't no fucking Tommy. Just like with a lot of these guys. So you can say what you want. I mean, StreamYards is pretty much open to everybody. And I mean, like, I see, hey, you got 363K. Great. I mean, and yeah, I mean, there's a lot of legitimacy to the claim. If your channels didn't get shut down, you would be at 1 million by now. I think so. I used to watch them back in the day. I used to think that Beasties video was funny as fuck every time he played that shit. But when they went through that ad apocalypse, a lot of channels got sniped. Yeah, so I was around with that. I was around, like, in the early days of O'Shea. I was around, like, not around as far as content creator, but, you know, I've watched black content. Professor Black Truth, Phil Scott. But Tommy, that was the controversial one, the king of controversy. The claim is that Tommy stole from Kevin Samuel. No. Whoa. Wrong. The claim that Tommy is making that Kevin Samuel stole some of his talking points. I mean that, like I said, everyone has stolen things from someone. Everybody's idea. But the thing is, would you rather be glad that the message is getting out there? I mean, there's a lot of people that give Tommy credit. A lot of them. He has a lot of haters, probably the most doxed man on YouTube ever. And by the way, I think that doxing shit is wrong. I would never stoop to that. Some people will, but I won't. But your argument is Kevin Samuel stole some of your material. Let me tell everyone a little secret. Let me tell everyone a little secret. There's a lot of bigger guys I see saying stuff that a lot of smaller guys say. And one thing that I think that, my theory with the bigger guys stealing from smaller guys is they know smaller guys can't say anything to them. So if I see someone saying something that I said the previous day, then and if they're bigger, if they have a larger subscriber count and a larger audience, who am I to say anything? Now, I'm not saying that anyone has ever stolen from me. It could be a possibility because, I have seen bigger content creators use a topic that was similar to mine within 1 or 2 days' time of me doing that topic. But here's the thing. I took it as flattery. I ain't take it as stealing. It might be stealing, but hey, like I said, bigger guys know that smaller guys can't really go at them. So, just one last thing to him. We're all facing challenges here. I know he doesn't care. I know he's the king of controversy. I know he doesn't give a shit. Fuck us niggas, blah, 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 whatever. Us black manosphere, whatever. But it is what it is. If you feel like people are stealing from you, then hey, that's it. That's an indictment of the impact that you made. You ain't got to hate. Ain't none of us got to hate. We can all eat. Sun is hot raw. Thank you for the super chat. He said, welcome back, Kev. Please don't entertain TS because he's been going around the manosphere as of lately being disrespectful and causing trouble. Am I lying, chat? I've observed it. And, is one thing that I've learned is that if you feed volatility will thrive. So, I'm not, the way I conduct myself and the way he conducts himself are going to be radically different. Dang, it's 9 minutes. It's almost a 2-hour mark. But, 40 likes, 2 dislikes. Thank you very much. Thank you for your participation in the chat. Kristen Minaj, $90,000 trash, whatever that means. Sir Anthony, doxing is the cardinal sin in this space. Yeah, it is. I don't respect doxing, but if they legit find something out about you that people need to know, especially if you're pulling stuff like messing with kids, then people need to know that. Outside of that, if you're just trying to humiliate someone, then you kind of punking out. Like I said, that there are talented people in this space, well, not necessarily in this space, that are on YouTube that dox people. And they could just use their God-given talent to thrive that way. But instead, they want to dox people and humiliate just because they want to prove something to a large number of unproductive ass fucking people. I don't care. I don't care at all. I done told y'all many a times, I'm broke. Shit, dox me all you want on that one. I'm broke. You ain't gonna find shit on me. But still, somehow I'm able to survive and take care of mine. So like I said, dox me all you want. You'll find bad info. But go ahead, do it. Go ahead, do it. It's like no one, even though doxing is bad, no one should fear doxing if they have nothing to hide. But at the same time, at the end of the day, it does, and in a lot of these cases, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in a lot of those cases what happened in a lot of those doxings. What matters is the message that these people are trying to put out, trying to get some information from 15, 20 years ago. And even though it isn't factual as to what applies today, you'll still push for it. And that shit looks foolish. Super fucking foolish. You should be ashamed of yourself. Trying to hate. Be happy. Be happy for a black man sometimes. Shit. Hell. One day you might have a world star hip hop video too that goes viral. Or your channel just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. So this hot rod, I wasn't disrespectful to him in any way, shape, or form, but he felt the need to call me a punk. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you have the right to command your respect, sir. Can't have name calling around here. And I don't expect you or any of the moderators to take name calling. It's just like I wouldn't go to Tommy's chat calling him any names. It's just, because I expect to be timed out. Hey, and sometimes, hey, I get timed out just for saying hello. Some that Facebook sickness has spread it to YouTube in some spots. But anyway, it's at the 2-hour mark. It's at the 2-hour mark. I'll go ahead and wrap it up here in a few minutes if no one's going to step up here. And I'll be back tomorrow night and Sunday night for any given Sunday. It's glad to see I'm able to still talk for 2 hours. It was very, very, very rough time for me, and but I'm good. I'm good. See, the thing is, what brings us all to these platforms is the fact that we are survivors. We have survived thus far, and our survival as black men should be very okay. No, we're not cutting it off yet. What's going on, Raj?
What's happening, brother? What's happening with you?
Yeah. Yeah, I was just about to wind it down. It's been 2 hours, but yeah, you're here, so yeah, let's go a little bit longer.
Okay, well, I ain't gonna keep it too long. I'm still out in the streets myself, but yeah, I see your subject. Folks hating on Kevin Samuels. What do I want to say about that? He got the juice now. you know, um, Sometimes people just don't like when other people got the juice.
Mm,
And I mean, the cool part is because, of course, if they were asked were they hating on him, I'm pretty sure they would say they're not hating on the dude. And nobody's got to like anybody specifically. But I mean, Kevin Samuel got the juice and he done turned into a celebrity. And at the end of the day, he's ascending to their levels. And if he continues well, all he's doing is creating a platform. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Women are voluntarily coming onto his platform and exposing the mindset of the everyday average black woman. Because you can't say it's not the everyday average black woman. I don't watch his show daily or anything like that. I just don't. I see a clip here or there. I try to maybe watch maybe a clip a day. Some days I just don't. But I've seen the show, and when you seen the beginning of when he kind of switched over and started talking to the women, as men who are more logical, most of us see it as, it's the same thing over and over again. Now, a lot of folks are going to watch it for the entertainment value of that. The entertainment value alone of these random women trying to get onto his show to somehow prove that they're worthy of a high value man. And they won't even get what I call the four bases together. They won't even get their weight together. Won't get you got women with kids out of wedlock. You got people who owe all kinds of debt, and you got people with a bad attitude. They don't even get those four bases together before they come onto a show. So it does expose black women as far as they feel like they don't even have to prepare themselves to get a high value man. And I mean, I ain't tripping. A sister wants a high value man, but I mean, if I have an opportunity to get up with a supermodel, I'm just keeping it real. I had an opportunity to talk to a supermodel, right? And the supermodel was having a show, and the show been going on for more than a year. And any random dude can call and talk to this supermodel. I would at least start exercising. I would at least get my attitude together. You know what I'm saying? I would try to pay off some bills. I try to come in debt free. I try to come in, with the, you know what I'm saying, the best way I can to represent myself to say, hey, maybe I can't get her. But if she's telling me she's in touch with a lot of other women like her, I may not get her. She just started a show. But I might just be able to pull somebody else on her level if I would just actually take the tips that are being offered and do something with the information. And the sad part is, you know, people are just not doing anything with the information. Kevin Samuels saying I mean, yes, is he saying things that are coming out the black manosphere? Sure he is. Is Kevin a black man? Sure he is. And I think some issue for people is like, can he not come to these conclusions on his own? Did he need the black manosphere to come up with any of these talking points? You know what I'm saying? You didn't need the black manosphere to come up with your talking points. I didn't need the black manosphere to come up with my talking points. We're all black men. We all live in America. We all see the same America, pretty much.
yeah,
You know,
we
you can.
yeah we
Uh,
we we've been at this longer than YouTube. So I mean, we've been having these back and forth discussions on social media for quite some time. We're just able to come up here and we're able to speak how we speak because we've already been doing that shit. And this is nothing new to any of us. So
what the thing is, I think what people don't want to take into account is that Some of the voices here on social media, these are people that who already was doing this before social media existed. These conversations were had long time ago when people didn't know who other people were. People were in their own cities, minding their own business, and they were talking to different groups of women on their own. And I've said many times, women have told me time and time again, and I remember this even back in high school days. Oh, it's not the women, it's the ones you talk to, the ones you happen to be around, the
Which are
ones
still
you
women.
happen to interact with.
Which are still women, motherfucker. Like,
Well, my thing is they were trying to pretend it was a localized problem. It's just a localized problem where you happen to be locally is why you're seeing the things that you're seeing. It's not an issue that's going on anywhere. You just happen to be around the people who happen to act that way. Social media just put it out there so people can see, that it's not a localized problem. You have had women come to your show and some women have acted I'm just gonna say they didn't come off with a present and make you want to date them.
yeah,
It's been
pretty
some women
much.
that have come to my show. It's because there's been some women come to my show. They did not give a vibe of this will be a person I want to date. And when it comes to a lot of the women who go on Kevin saying now he has different women coming on every night. It ain't a lot of guys who gonna want to date these women that happen to come on there. Let alone a high value man. It ain't a lot of guys who go on date them, period. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some guys who would date anything. I won't even argue against that point. But I mean, when you see people coming on there with the attitudes they have, like there's certain attitudes you're not gonna be. Your looks can't get you past that attitude. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nothing you can really do about that. Now, Dr. Umar, he say he's for black people. All I can say is if you're gonna be for black people, you gotta be for black men too. So if black America is having a problem, you should be concerned at least somewhat with the problems that black America is having. And if you want to start a school and your idea is to separate the boys, you see something too. I mean, you say a lot of stuff, and don't get me wrong, I understand his school and his vision is eventually he's going to include girls, but his school is supposed to open up for boys first. So he sees something there, regardless of what he wants to admit to. But I don't want to put too much on the man. He can portray himself any way he want to portray himself. The man is doing. I personally believe he's doing some type of good work in the school system, but sometimes some things are just kind of out of your scope. He might want to stick to the education thing. I don't know how much he knows about black men and black women when it comes to relations. So I ain't gonna say he don't know nothing. I just don't know what he does know. I know he's an educated man. I know he helps people when it comes to educational issues. So, much respect for him what he does in those areas. But sometimes you step into to a space and like I said, I'm not gonna accuse man because he's a public figure and all that to a certain degree. I ain't gonna accuse him for not knowing nothing, but he's a smart man.
Yeah,
I know I'm let me just say real quick. He's a smart man. I know I'm a smart man. So if I can see the things I can see, it's hard for me to believe he can't see what I can see. But go ahead.
No, he's a smart man that hasn't made a very smart decision trying to blast a group of guys for simply wanting to help. And I've listened to Dr. Umar throughout the years, and one thing I can say is that his rhetoric kind of flip flops at times. I guess depending on who's present. Now, we've known guys like that who would flip flop their rhetoric depending on who they were talking to. And although Dr. Umar, like, he was on his roll for a second, and he was very well. It seemed like he was having a very good message. It seemed that as he as you know as it took longer to, I guess, quote unquote, build this Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, the more and more bitter he became, and he started calling people out for not donating to him. And I understand, like we, like guys like me and you, we defended him when that country stripper thing happened. You know, it's like we felt like that he was being dick policed. You know, I did at least. You know, I use dick police as a joke or anything. But it's like, you know, if he ain't married, who cares what the man does with his dick? But it lost him out on a huge donation. So, Dr. Umar, like I said, I used to listen to him back in 2014, 2015. The Dr. Umar today was actually against is against interracial marriage and interracial dating, as he says. But it seems like he holds black men more to the fire on that one than black women, which, you know, is a new way of pandering. You know, you don't hold BW accountable for anything. But back in the day when I used to listen to Dr. Umar, and I wish I could find this audio, like, I mean, well, for starters, he used to blast women all the time. You know, for you know, pretty much for the same like kind of the same red pillish stuff that, you know, we taught today. So to his point, yes, he's yet another man saying that we, you know, guys in this space are using his talking points, you know, which could very well be true. You know, just another guy saying, "Oh, they're using my talking points. They're using my talking points. Oh my god. Oh my god." You know, but but Dr. Umar talking points for a guy that has been watching this man for a while has evolved. And I say that with strong quote fingers, evolved. You know, because if one thing is for certain, and one thing that who is this guy who recently got exposed and he was the biggest simp in history, you know, neck and neck with Steve Harvey, Derrick Jackson. You know, one thing they learned from Derrick Jackson is that simping is very profitable. And since he wasn't getting the general populace of black people to gravitate toward his cause, and a lot of that, unbeknownst to Dr. Umar, or probably beknownst to Dr. Umar, it was the fact that he was a black man. At the end of the day, he is a black man trying to do something positive for the community. I said earlier in this broadcast, you can put black in front of everything except man. You can put black in front of anything except man. You say the words black men in certain crowds and certain enclaves, then 2, 3, 4, one, at least one person is going to be shaken by it. What is he saying that for? You can say Black Lives Matter. You can say Black Girl Magic. But when it comes to black men, then all of a sudden it's overshadowed by that label, people of color. People want to shy away from it. People have a problem with it. The one thing Dr. Umar has forgotten, in my view, is that he's forgotten that he's a black man, first and foremost. He wants to be king of everything. He wants to be king of everything black, black, blackety black. He's a guy who really suffers from Highlander complex. You know, he wants to be top dog. That's the main problem. That's the main problem. A lot of these guys, they want to be top dog, and they don't want to work cohesively together. Just like the guy that was just in the chat. He feels like that he should be top dog status by now. And that is something that really isn't decided by the individual, no matter how much the individual pipes about it. But go ahead, Roger. You was about to say something?
No, my thing is, I ain't gonna say nothing negative because I don't see how it's gonna benefit me to even say nothing negative about the dude. I like the fact that he wants to help. I see that he has an ability to help when it comes to different issues connected to education. So I want the man to, I want him to lose all credibility where he cannot no longer help people when it comes to education, especially black boys. My thing is, at the end of the day, regardless of his opinion about what's going on, you know, sometimes you don't want to stick your. I'm just saying, you know how they say, some you gotta pick and choose your battle. Some stuff you just don't really need to dip into. I just say that. He is a smart man. Okay, he's an educated man. I know I see stuff, and it would be hard for me to figure out how he can't see stuff that I see. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't putting no. I'm saying this because I don't want to put no words in his mouth. I'm just saying once you get to a certain, I mean, people know the man's smart. People know the man is educated to a certain degree. So like, how you can't see what I see? You know? So what good is to you to throw shots at Kevin Samuels or anyone else that just because you have a difference in opinion about black women, what good is that gonna do to you? Because I mean, truth be told, he do need to focus on raising money for that school. If he can get a school open that's gonna help boys, he need to focus on that. Don't worry about trying to defend the black women on every single front. You don't need to. Get the school together. That's what he need to do, if you ask me. Focus on the school. There's only so much any of us can do at one time. So yeah, I'm not gonna trash your brother. I just, man, you're a very smart man. How can you not see what I see? That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not saying let's completely trash the dude. I feel like he's pretty much off about the Black Manosphere, and and at the end of the day, he wrong for going to bigger outlets to trash us when he didn't do a thorough enough investigation. And methinks that is pocket watching also. I mean, because
who say he didn't do a thorough investigation? See, that's the thing about people. And when you say stuff in a public fashion, you don't know how much research these people have done. He might know exactly what's going on. So my thing is, he said what he said because that's what he wanted to say. Just that simple to me. I'm just saying, so because I don't want to discredit the brother in any way. I'm just saying sometimes you should leave certain things alone. Period. It would be a better, in my personal opinion, I believe he would be much better served focusing on making that school happen. That would help the black community a lot better than him getting into this whole thing with other people who are making content that is going to actually help folks in America. It's going to help black people in America. I understand everybody ain't going to like the stuff that's going to be said. Of course. Why would everybody like the stuff going to be said? With what's been going on in the country, if you've been benefiting off a bunch of dysfunction and somebody is coming around saying some stuff that might take away from some of your enjoyment through the dysfunction, is don't make sense for you to like it. That's like a person who wants to be a basketball player, and you got people talking about closing down all the gyms in the city. The person, if I want to play basketball, I don't want to hear somebody talking about they're going to close all the gyms in the city. So I totally get why people ain't going to like everything. Everybody ain't supposed to like it. I don't care who don't like it. But if we want a functional black community, we got to get it done in different ways. And since that man is who he is, in my opinion, the better use of his time is making that school happen. Because you got all the credibility in the world when it comes to that area. So just go do that. Make the school happen. Why get into it with other people who ain't trying to get into it with you when you can go make the school happen? Because if it turns into something, somebody gonna be discredited, and then what's gonna happen with the school at that point? See, I don't need Dr. Umar getting in bouts with people. I'd rather him go make that school happen. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what he think about what's going on in the Black Manosphere. He ain't part of the Black Manosphere. So I don't care 2 cents about what he thinks about the Black Manosphere. Dude, just go make the school happen. Sometimes you gotta pick your battle, and we as other folks, sometimes we gotta just push them to where they need to be. Everybody can't do everything. If you can write books, be an author. You know what I'm saying? If you good with a camera, make a movie. If you're good with your mouth, sure, give commentary. There's a lot of things black men can do. A black man don't need to do everything. So all I'm gonna say, because like I said, I don't want the man discredited. I'm gonna say he looks like he can be great in the educational realm. I would prefer he use his talents to make that happen.
Oh, well, great. And I will say this, not to completely discredit Umar, but I will bring up something positive that I thought that he did. Uh, During the Nate Parker debacle, Dr. Umar, I don't necessarily remember him defending Nate Parker, but he would often bring up the fact that why weren't BWs paying attention to the fact that Jerry Sandusky happened at the same school, and he kept bringing up the point that over 30 black boys, young black boys, were victimized by Jerry Sandusky. Something that this quote unquote feminist movement never really focused on. They cared more about taking Nate Parker down. But just to say that, like I said, just to reinforce a point that I made before, I never completely 100% disagree with people. There's something I agree with somewhere, depending on the person. But anyway, Mr. Z, what's going on, man? How you
What's going
doing?
on, bro? Good, good. What's going on, Raj? Oh man, on the
What's
trip
happening? What's happening?
from the old lady house, so y'all got me in for a little while, man. Okay, Dr. Umar Johnson and Kev, this was bound to happen. It sucks Dr. Umar finds himself on the wrong side of history here. And I'm gonna echo a lot of what Roger said. We don't know if Dr. Umar it understands what Kevin is saying. There's a high likeliness he knows exactly what's going on, and he is defending a lot of his supporter base. He is defending a lot of his financial base, although it is him potentially really believing what he's saying, right? And I think it's both. I think it's both. I think he is defending his supporter base and his financial base, but I think there's an Oscar Wilde quote that says it's hard to get a man to believe something, especially if his paycheck is dependent on him not believing it, or something along those lines. So the man will be he does have a lot of black women support because black women and women in general love when men tell other men that no matter what, somehow, some way, it's your fault. And Dr. Umar does believe that the black community does need primarily black men to save it, black men to build it, and he does have a point. We got to be honest about that. But, or however, or in addition to that, where he misses is, and I said this to Raj before, is resentment. Young black men, and when I say young, I'm really talking about under the age of 40, really don't care about none of that. Torch the whole thing in many of their minds. And the younger you go, the worse it gets. Torch the whole thing. Some of these young black men have mom issues that nobody cares about. All you care about is when he becomes an adult and he doesn't want to date black women. You and I slipped up. I'll give y'all, short story. I'll give y'all a little anecdote. I kind of slipped up and said something around my girl today that I probably shouldn't say, because you know I got into it with my mom, and I was talking to my girl, and I was like, see, it be shit like that. Like y'all don't be knowing. That's why all my freaking guy cousins ain't with black women, right? And I slipped up and said it, right? And I realized I'm loyal to black women. I like to be dealing with black women no matter what. My, all my cousins on my mind, the guys, they don't feel that way. And I'm not gonna say they have overall issues, but ain't none niggas with black women. None. Out of all the ones that's adults, let's say 6, 7, none of them. Out of like 7, right? So, you know, Dr. Umar misses that. I truly do believe that it's a mixture of both. I truly do believe that he gets it and he doesn't get it. He thinks it's a small issue and he thinks it's primarily black men. This kind of falls somewhat into respectability, right? If we would just get it together, then black women would be on our side. And he doesn't understand, kind of no. And a lot of young black men are like, yeah, it shouldn't be this hard. And she shouldn't be that mean. And she shouldn't be that rude. And she shouldn't be that disrespectful. And it shouldn't take so much to get her on my side. I mentioned Raj before too, the BGS video that he made a few months ago that went down the numbers of what it took for a black woman to consider you a man compared to what it took for a white woman to consider you a man. And it was just so much more difficult for black women to consider their men men, and their men are the most oppressed men in the country. It's how out of touch are you to the men that you grow up with, you have sex with, you marry, you date, you have children with, you live with, you raise. How So that's why I think Dr. Umar misses. He's really on the wrong side of history here. You know, he could say what he wants. These young men, when you get under the age of 40, definitely when you get under the age of 30, they really don't want to hear none of it. It shouldn't be that hard. And I'm with Raj on that. Stay, build, go do your school thing. We definitely need that. But everything else you doing with this Kevin thing and this high value thing, Kevin never said he was a relationship guru, right? Kevin is just go ahead.
But that's mostly just people who just trying to say bullshit, like these people who repeatedly make these posts talking about all these guys on YouTube claim to be gurus and relationship experts and advice. Like, you never really hear any of these guys say that I'm a guru. I'm an advice columnist, I mean, you would hear guys say, hey, you know what, I'm trying to teach, I'm trying to, teach from my experience, and, this is what I've seen work versus what I've seen doesn't work. But, it ain't like most of these guys are just here, just to fake like there's something that they aren't. I do understand there are people that do that. But for the most part, we've all established that we're ordinary, everyday guys that just come to this platform in our spare time, and the crazy ideal is, yes, some of us are here to make a difference. Some of us are here to get to the bottom of certain things. And the one thing that black men face throughout this Western culture and society is the fact that every time we try to speak up about something, we're automatically invalidated. If it's not favorable, toward black people as a group and even black women, go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I mean, at the end of the day, we gotta just remember where we at. We're in America. Hating black men is American culture. That's number one. Exactly. Okay, hating the black man more for being productive is also American culture. And extremely hating the black man for being uber successful is also American culture. And when it comes to American culture, no matter what a black man does, he's still just a nigga. It's people that still look at Michael Jordan as just another nigga at the end of the day. That ain't about to change. And black folks been trained to be white supremacists too. Because if you grow up and you didn't go to, I can't say even if you went to a private school, but I know if you grow up and went to a public school and you watch television here in America, if you read magazines, if you read books, white supremacy has been pretty much in all of it. It ain't been in all of it because you have some black-owned stuff here and there, but a lot of black-owned stuff has not survived because it definitely has been attacked from physical levels and economic levels. People have created strategies to make sure black men do not own certain things. Okay, so hating black men, that's as American as an apple pie, as they say. That's as American as apple pie. So what is the method of hurting black men in America? The method for a long period of time is you hurt black men through black women. Now, Dr. Umar is a smart man. At the end of the day, we don't know what he don't know. But if you go out there and you say something, now I'm just gonna put two and two. I'm just speculating because, like I said, I'm not gonna say nothing to damage that man's name because we still could use him from the educational standpoint. So if he work in education, we'll be good. But if you got a lot of female fans, if you got a lot of female supporters, and the black manosphere being what it is, and this is something that black men don't realize yet, but we will at some point. Because of the internet, we are becoming the world leaders. Because black men in America are looked at all over the world. So regardless of what we do with this, we are the world leaders, whether we realize it or not. So the black manosphere has become the thought leaders of social issues in America. Okay, because everything that affects black people is going to later affect other people. Okay, I doubt if I'm wrong in this area because that's just American culture.
But
Things that
understand this,
affect black
Roger.
people roll to everybody else. Go ahead.
Understand this, Roger. With you saying that, there's someone somewhere trying to invalidate what you said. Just
Oh,
cause.
of course, that's American culture.
Well,
You know, but
Raj, I'm sorry, Raj, but Raj has heard me say, and this is one of my lines is, the internet has exposed us all, right? And the issue a lot of people are having, and I gotta just say it straight out. Black women weren't supposed to be the ones that was getting negative PR like this. Not outside of white society doing it, right? And so now that white society doesn't have complete and total control of the narrative coming in and out of the black community, it has put us in a weird space because, especially in my lifetime, I'm 34, I was born in 86, but even in Raj's lifetime, the negative press has been on black men for the most part. And black women have had to deal with the fallout of that. But now with the internet, what's happening is it's really difficult to say black men are the issue in the black community. It's really difficult to write an article that says black men are the white racists of the black community. For those of you that remember that article that came out a few years ago, it's really hard to write that when all Kevin is doing, what, 3, 4 nights a week, is interviewing women and having them tell you average men are unworthy, right? Or average men are unworthy of marriage. Nobody wants to be with an average black man. No, it's really difficult to make black men, average black men, the issue when you have everyone from an 18-year-old to a 60-year-old black woman all across the educational spectrum telling you, yeah, I'd rather be single than be with a black man. Yeah, I think my 120-pound ass could beat up a 200-pound black man. Yeah, why would I get married if it's not about the money? Like, all Kevin is doing is making these women give him definitive answers and asking them basic questions. And that goes to show you that Shahrazad Ali was right. The one group of people that has not been um, correctly like inspected and critiqued in American culture are black women. And so we're getting to lift that rock up and see what's under it, and it ain't nothing pretty. That's why Dr. Umar is having an issue. Because how do you combat that? Yeah, okay, black men aren't perfect. Okay, but you still haven't addressed the issue of this is who you're telling black men to marry. Women that are telling you they don't want to marry them. Forget what black men think. These women are telling you we don't want to marry black men. How do you address that? Because most of us are going to be average. Most of us are going to be, and I said this to Raj all the time, most of us are going to be $60,000 and less type of men. The vast majority of us. How do you address the fact that these women, no matter whether they work at McDonald's or they have a corner office in somebody's law office, are telling you they don't want to be with those men? What are you going to do about that, Dr. Umar Johnson?
what my thing is, Kevin ain't doing anything. Kevin just running a platform. Black women are doing something. He's just talking to people. He ain't doing nothing. He ain't telling them who to call in. He's not assigning people information. He don't have no scripts written or anything like that. So he ain't doing anything. It is not on Kevin that all he did was create a show talking from a high value man perspective. It is not on, you know what I'm saying? That's all he did. It's not on him that so many women responded to him talking from a high value man perspective. That ain't his fault. He just opened up a platform to have some conversation, just like others of us have opened up platforms to have conversation. And no matter what platform brothers have been on, the majority, a lot of sisters ain't giving the best look that I can tell, because I have not seen every platform everywhere. But as far as I can tell, sisters ain't making themselves look good. They're the ones messing their own image up. That ain't got nothing to do with Kevin. That ain't got nothing to do with no other man. We just have platforms. We just talking to people who happen to show up. Ain't nobody, you know what I'm saying? People ain't paying all these. I'm not going to say it's not a platform that exists where somebody ain't paying somebody to show up to come to their platform because they have some type of celebrity status. But most folks ain't doing that. Folks are just having conversation with people, talking about different issues. How black women look while that's going on has something to do with them. It ain't got nothing to do with Kevin. He just talks.
You know what it is, Kevin Rush? They're having an issue, and Dr. Umar, DJ Envy, Angela Yee, let's call them out. They're having an issue dealing with the fact that black women are telling you, you got to buy my respect. And even then, I don't really know if I'm going to respect you. Y'all, they don't know how to address that, so they got to cower and still make it somehow. And they're using Kevin as a avatar for black men, right? It's still black men's fault or issue at the end of the day that black women don't want to be with y'all or don't respect y'all or whatever. So, and I don't think Dr. Umar's he's not going that far with it, but I do think DJ Envy and Angela Yee, oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that ain't no, everybody's scared to address black women. So it gotta be black men's fault.
I wouldn't even go that far. I don't think their issue is black people coupling at all. I don't think that's what the issue is. The issue in America is that hating black men is just simply American culture. Why would Angela Yee or why would DJ Envy even care? When you really think about it, do they really care about the average black man or black woman coupling with anybody? I'm not saying they don't, but I'm saying I don't know specifically any reason why they would necessarily even care. So I'm not going to even say they care. It may not be in their mindset at all, but hating black men is American culture. It's just that simple at the end of the day. Now, I get that radio has a lot of women who are going to listen to it because, you know, radio is something you can listen to for free, and women are attracted to free stuff. I know that to be a fact. Women are very much attracted to free stuff. So when it comes to radio, I'm pretty sure their base is always going to be female dominated. So at the end of the day, females are their customers. That's who they advertise for. You know, people sell stuff. You try to sell stuff to women. And for the most part, even male products. You had the whole thing about Old Spice masterfully had a campaign about, you know, what a man can look like and how women are going to respond to him. They were selling to men, but they were using a man who is appealing to women to sell to men. Because why? Because they want women to push their product. Because if women will push the product, a lot of men will go out and get it. That's just how sales go for a good portion of America. So I don't think I'm not going to put nothing personal on them or what they want to do or anything like that. But things are going to be disturbed in the force, as they say. And the black manosphere has a lot more reach than people understand. You know what I'm saying? And now Kevin is getting an even further reach, but the black manosphere as a whole already had a reach. And now certain people are going to want it to calm down. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying everybody's even associating Kevin with the black manosphere, but we already had a reach. And the people who know what's up, how big do you want this nigga to really get? That's the type of stuff they saying. How big do we want this nigga to get? If we let one push through, you know, and I have no idea how big he's gonna get. The only thing I do know, when you get on social media, there's certain people we don't have to get their approval. We can just do our thing. That's how social media works. You know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily need the approval of certain people. So therefore, anybody potentially can become a star. Don't mean you will. I'm not saying that people that don't own the platforms could simply take you out, because they can just stop you from using their platforms if they want to. But if no one makes an effort to stop you, particularly, anybody might be a star. So you're dealing with a bit of deregulation right now.
Okay, and also, Roger, let me say in front of everybody, thank you for sharing this video to your community tab. Good looking out, brother. I really appreciate that. A lot of the problem with a lot of these hating content creators, and it's not just about the hatred for Kevin Samuels, but it is like the hatred and all the little disses being thrown at gods in the manosphere that have like say for instance, one diss is guys who only use StreamYard. And what I said in the broadcast earlier is you might want to kind of shut the fuck up if you're using that as a talking point, because if people are using StreamYard, just using StreamYard, and they have a better audience than you, then what does that say about your product at the end of the day? While you're trying to tear other people down, you need to be worried about improving your shit. And that's a lot of what I see in this space. People need to worry about their own shit instead of trying to tear other people down. Some people are just afraid. Other people are just jealous that you having an audience might have infringe on or impede on them having an audience. Like, I feel no real threat from Kevin Samuels because like the guy got 20 to 30,000 watching him anyway. So it's like, what can I really say? Can I really be a person that can say with a straight face that, Kevin Samuels is ruining the game for everybody? No, the man's popularity is overwhelming. How many YouTubers right now can get 20, 30,000 live viewers to engage for 2-3 hours? Seriously. How many YouTubers like that, period? But go ahead. I know you want to say something.
Well, now, my thing is, because honestly, I don't even pay attention to all that. I don't even care about that part. I just really don't.
It's not about caring. Let me put it out there like that. It's not about caring. It's like, okay, as a hater, why would you care about anybody being watched or anything? Why can't you just worry about your own product and improving your own product and worrying about yourself? That's all I'm saying.
No, I get what you meant, but a hater is going to hate. That's a hater's job. You see what I'm saying? That's what they signed up to do. You know what I'm saying? To be a hater, you got to hate something. What I'm saying is that the reason Kevin Samuels is a problem, because he's like a lightning rod to a narrative that people don't want. There's a narrative that people want to exist. He's a lightning rod to something that can be seen that narrative does not fit. So if you can build people's faith up in something, and now there's a lightning rod that's going to destroy people's faith in that particular thing, that can make a lot of people uneasy. I'm not going to say who can be made uneasy. It can be the most powerful people to people who mean nothing to nobody. But at the end of the day, there's a lightning rod that's going to destroy a narrative that's been established since 1619. That's a powerful thing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
What I was saying is that one main issue that people are having with KS is that you said the lightning rod to the narrative, it directly attacks. You're right. What's being said since 1619? What has been built since 1619? It's a legitimate, if not now at this point, a legitimate strike against white supremacy for WS. It's becoming a legitimate strike against WS. And many people are going to have a problem with that no matter what. Anything that involves a black man asserting himself, they're going to have a problem with. Now, like I said, I visited chats, and I'm starting to call grown men basically they're feminist because these are the same men, like they have a problem with the black manosphere. And I said and these are the same guys that spout about being anti-relationship, anti-marriage. And I'm like, that sounds like a feminist to me. Feminists are usually anti-relationship, anti-marriage, anti-black male assertion. That's all the qualities of a feminist. So it's like it's like if you're claiming that if you're claiming that you want black men to step up and to lead, but you have a problem with the leadership, then basically you are helping WS. And basically you have the makings of a feminist, male or female.
Kev, speaking to that, excuse me. There's a documentary I watched years ago, and I watch it maybe once a year now. I've watched it like 4 times. Um, and it looked like it was shot in the 90s maybe, and it covers radical feminism. And on that documentary, and this is going to what you're saying, people being anti-family, and it's sounding like, that's some feminist stuff, but these men don't really understand that that's what they're really talking about. In the documentary, one of the women in there, and I don't remember if it was a black woman or a white woman, but she essentially was saying in her ideal world, men would be on one side of the planet and women would be on the other side. So let's say women would take up, let's say, Europe and Asia, and men would take up North and South America in her ideal world. And a lot of these men, brothers included, when you advocate for something or you say something, and either you think what you're saying is revolutionary, but you really don't know, like people have been saying that for like hundreds, maybe thousands of years, or you've been so indoctrinated in the culture that you think you're saying something um of your own volition, and it's your own thoughts, it's your own feelings, but in reality it's something you've been indoctrinated into believing and saying. It's either one of those to me, where these men are advocating for stuff, not fully realizing, and sometimes they do realize, one, this screws you over. Two, this screws over men that look like you, or that your sons, your brothers, right? Or they've become so accustomed to being on the bottom that they really can't comprehend another way of sounding, right? It's a weird form of respectability. And I think Dr. Umar is delving into that, this weird form of respectability that says that no matter what, it's still our fault. Somehow you see women as some type of weird children, right? Where they can't be fully accountable or aware of their actions. And I agree. I see where Roger's coming from. Kevin is not. He's just turning on a camera, right? It's not him. It's the women. I agree with that, but at the same time, we haven't seen this. You got to remember, black men are the cover for black women, right? We're the monsters. No matter what, white society fully understands that what they're doing is lying, right? They're lying to the world about black men. But at the same time, especially for people under the age of let's say 40 or 50, when this hit, hyperdrive and throwing men under the bus to advance women, a lot of people did buy in. That's what I'm getting to. A lot of people, including men who are going through their own individual issues with black moms and black sisters and black aunts and black grandmothers, they even bought in. They even bought into the BS. So it's difficult for them to unplug, giving a Matrix reference. It's difficult for them to unplug and see that, nah, maybe it ain't black men. These women are telling you they can't respect a black man they make more money than. They're telling you, I can't be with average. Screw average. I'd rather be alone, right? So yeah, Kevin isn't doing anything other than turning on a camera and asking basic questions. But even with that, you're seeing um the resentment, the anger, the rage of black women, the fact that they really see you as a utility. And I'll end with this, Kev. You know, um, Yuval Harari, Israeli historian, he talks about how when the printing press became a thing, You would think that people would be reading Galileo or Socrates or some um big philosopher from back in the, when I say back in the day, that was back in the day, but I'm talking about thousands of years ago. But no, you know what people were reading? How to Kill Witches. In Europe, when the printing press became a thing, people were reading How to Kill Witches. So instead of reading philosophy, and the print that was competing with the Bible being printed was How to Kill Witches. And I'm tying that to this to say social media in the way we see it hasn't even hit fully 2 decades yet. Not in the way we see it. It's getting close, right? And look at what we're doing. Right? The first thing, instead of finding out everything you can know, right? The Google is at your fingertips, YouTube is at your fingertips. Men and women, and this goes beyond race, because I see it going on in different communities online also. We're ripping each other's head off, and it's mainly the women because it's hard for them. They can't hide behind white supremacist media anymore. But instead of us going and finding out everything we could possibly know about the planet, the first thing we do is be like, okay, I can finally tell you what I really think about you. It's insane,
What?
with the advancement of technology, this is
Now
what we do.
I, I wouldn't, I wouldn't make that out to be such a small thing, because what's going on with black men and how we're viewed has a lot to do with how we can operate in this country. So it's actually an extremely important thing for us. Now, what I will say is, I'm not gonna put nothing on Kevin. You put it on Kevin, you just kill Kevin. Now he just a dead nigga. Kevin ain't did nothing. He just had a platform. It's not Kevin's fault people want to talk to the high value man. That ain't on Kevin. You know what I'm saying? Now, people are seeing something that kills a narrative because see when I was a young boy, which I mentioned not too long ago, when I was young, even in high school ages, the whole story was it's not something that's happened generally when it comes to how sisters are behaving. It just happens to be the ones that you around. You know, it happens to be the ones that go to your high school. Happens to be the ones that go to the same movie theater you go to. Happens to be the ones that go to the same grocery store you go to. You see what I'm saying? Now you got people who've been pushing that narrative for a long time. It's a localized issue. That's all that's really being said in you know what I'm saying? That's all that's really being said. It's a localized issue. You have not just Kevin, you got many different men who've hosted shows. Women have come on the panel, and we see that it ain't about no average black man. It ain't about no high value black man. They just don't want to deal with black men. Period. And that's the smart folks who are concerned about what's going on. They see all that. They don't see an issue as black women have an issue where they don't want to deal with the average black man. The issues they're having is black women are exposing the fact that they don't want to deal with any black man. That's what's going on. That's why black women feel they're settling. Getting a black man is settling to them because you're black. Ain't about what you accomplish. If you look at the behavior of a black woman who married a rich black man, a famous black man, any type of status situation you want to put him in. Heck, even Michael Jordan got divorced. Michael Jordan not only was the best player during his career, is arguably he's the best player that has ever existed. Which means what? He was at the top of his field. Okay? And women swear they like the top. So the guy who was at the top of his field, he still ended up getting divorced.
You
So
know, you
it go way beyond just an average man.
Raj, my line. The internet has democratized the town square. And I can't disagree with you, bro. It, I, yeah, I can't disagree with you. The internet has all it's done, and what all social media has done is it's allowed us to not have to go through the powers that be. And we're still going through the powers that be, but the filter isn't as strong as it once was. Um, or it's a direct shot from your mouth in your image to another person's site or their ability to hear you without going through so many barriers of intro. And yeah, the internet has democratized the town square, and so we get to hear without these people being media prepped and without them having the makeup on and without like Kevin does all the time, the bonnet brigade or whatever he does, that shit's hysterical. But without the filter, you get to see like Roger's saying, them show you their ass and show you, nah, I don't want to be with any black man. Maybe I'm just putting the bar artificially this high because I don't expect y'all to really meet it. But even when y'all meet it, I get to tell you, yeah, you know what? In actuality, maybe I really don't want to be with y'all at all. And actually, there was a interview Kevin did with I want to say she was a traveling nurse, uh, kind of cutish. She wasn't ugly. I'll give her 6.5, 6, right? Okay, sister. She wasn't overweight and none of that. Well spoken. She was even somewhat cordial to him. But when he boxed her in, she finally did admit, okay, you know what? Maybe I don't want a relationship. I have nieces and nephews. I'll just be a good aunt to them until I'm ready around 28, 29, 30. So, Raj, what you're saying, there is a lot of evidence to that. There's a lot of evidence to that. But I think now that we live in the age of social media, we're getting to see men like me and you and Kevin be able to box these women in, and then they say it, right? Before, white media wasn't allowing them to say it. Or it was, but there would be so many different commentary or different ways for them to spin what she said, or purposely misinterpret what she said,
Bro,
right? But now,
back in
not
the day,
anymore.
they just edit it out. Back in the day, they just edited it out.
True,
That's
true.
that's what happened back in the day. People say
Hmm.
something, it went too far, you edit it out. Nowadays, you see people in the raw, you see them in the real. That's what I'm
Hmm.
saying. This is not the problem that when it comes to the hatred of Kevin Samuels' platform,
Hmm.
it ain't got nothing to do with Kevin Samuels.
Mm.
The reason it's hated is because how you gonna get men to go out and do stuff for women that's coming out here telling men that we don't like y'all no matter what you do?
Exactly.
How do you galvanize that? And that affects Dr. Umar's situation.
Hmm.
How do you get men to buy into whatever he's trying to push as a black community when you got somebody who has a lightning rod on the fact that women are saying,
Mm.
I ain't gonna respect these niggas, period.
Mm.
That's gonna have an effect on what he's trying to do. That's why I say he needs to, stick to that educational space because we can use
Mm.
him in that educational space.
Mhm.
But I'm pretty sure his, once you have so many women following you or donate money to you, they're gonna say stuff to you. They're gonna want certain things done. So
Mm.
he may have cracked under the pressure because women are saying, "Hey, what about these guys? You need to address these guys." He might have just cracked under the pressure. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say that because I ain't gonna say nothing about the man in the public way.
Mm.
This is all me speculating, y'all. But at the end of the day, how do you galvanize men to do things and to be there for women who are letting it be known without a shadow of a doubt that these niggas ain't worth me, period?
And that's the dilemma. And that's something I think we really don't appreciate. That's going to be the dilemma, not for just the Dr. Umars. You're walking into a situation potentially, if technology, yeah, they better hurry up and build these robots because you're dealing with a situation now where things are open enough that we could even expand this out of the black community. This is going on in Japan right now, and more South Korea when it comes to this particular thing. The men don't even want to marry the women. Not because they don't want to have sex with them, not because we still don't find them physically attractive, not because they don't do cutesy things sometimes, not it's not any of that. We still are attracted to them. But you can feel that low level, oftentimes high level of contempt. You feel that as a man when you're sitting across from her at the dinner table on that date, right? You see that you can see that sarcasm that kind of turns you on because you want to fuck the shit out of her. You can see where that's like, okay, I want to conquer that now, but I don't want to turn that into a wife, right? There's a primal part of me that want to have sex with that in now, but can I see me being married to that sarcasm for 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years, 40 years, right? So the issue that this society is having, developing world and developed world, is like you're saying, Raj, how do you galvanize men to still do and provide and protect and have children with these women so you can have your future slave and tax paying class, right? When these women are telling you they have contempt for average men and they can barely tolerate men that are above average, but at least those men they'll tolerate enough to have children with and to maybe
No,
marry. How do you
bro,
deal with that?
you trying to give them too much credit. They don't like any
Mm,
of them that's black. That's why when you get a
yeah,
black man, they say they selling it. It don't make a difference what the nigga do.
yeah.
If women felt some type of way about a man who's achieved something, then how come they don't go on that show and be extremely respectful to Kevin?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? If being a high value man mattered, why would they show up with a bonnet on?
Cause they
If
think
being a high value if being a high value man mattered, why would you come there without your makeup stuff being done? If being a high value man mattered, why would you ever raise your voice at him? If being a high value man
Mm,
mattered, why would you come there on purpose trying to prove the man wrong? Being a high
yeah.
value man don't matter to any of them.
black
Yeah.
man, black man,
Yeah,
Hmm.
he's still a nigga to them.
Hmm.
and their love of the and their love of their pale zaddy. A lot of
Mm.
that doesn't come
Uh-oh.
from that. A lot of that doesn't come from actual love. They think that they're going to access generational wealth when they hook up with the pale zaddy. And
Hmm.
let me give it let me give you two examples. And I really hate to do this because that's what females do. And I'm not trying to compete with any females or anything like that. So, but females have a tendency to use celebrity examples,
Hmm.
as their argument for brothers liking white women more. But we know it's BS. But look at Robert De Niro and look at what's happening to Gary Owen right now.
Mm.
It's
Yeah,
all
with the
about
black, yeah.
it's all about the moolah. Gary Owen's estranged wife wants $44K a month in spousal support. $44K a month. What the fuck? And Robert De Niro, he's doing acting jobs he don't want to do because his wife spent all his money. So is it necessarily about? I mean, even though they openly respect Chad, and put Chad above the black man publicly, can we just say, like, for once, that it might be just about the money?
Well, Chad is the
Well,
he. Go ahead, Gross.
well, I'm gonna say, man, celebrities not everybody use those, so I don't think that's a female thing at all.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even spin a conversation toward white men.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even thinking about it from that because it don't matter at the end of the day. What they do to Zaddy, that's their business. That's how I look at that. That ain't got nothing to do with me. They do whatever they want when it comes to them. But you need a people to be working. And when you have a capitalist system, somebody got to be at the bottom. If you want to control who's going to be at the bottom, you got to get them to voluntarily be at that bottom. How do you voluntarily get men, a specific group of men, to be at the bottom if they know and understand the women of their group ain't gonna work with them? Period.
You
You're not
remove
gonna have those men be at the bottom.
you systemically remove the leadership of the males, and you don't teach the sons coming into the world a fucking thing.
Mm.
No, but the thing is, their group of men is gonna disappear. They will disappear
Yeah.
because they're not gonna exist. Because if people get so focused, well, okay, black women ain't gonna do nothing for me. Let me go over here to this other one. So now you're gonna have people going to and becoming something else, third, fourth generation, they're a whole different group. You know what I'm saying? You won't even be able to tell a black man was in a family line. So you can't have that specific group be at the bottom if they're not going to procreate with the women of that group. But why would the men procreate with the women of a group who can't stand it? That's gonna fall apart. So you can't even have a planned group be at this because they got to do it voluntarily in the capitalist system.
Yeah, go where you're happy. Yeah, I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, you go where you're happy. I even say that for black women. If you want to be, at the end of the day, if you want to be a Chad with a Chad that treats you well, as opposed to an ain't shit nigga, then hey, you know what? If you like it, I love it. So I wasn't saying that would really matter at the end of the day. What I'm saying is, to a lot of these chicas, it's about getting access to money. It's about getting paid. That's why they use the celebrity examples, because those guys are paid. And the complaint is when we date out that whatever generational wealth that could be potentially provided will go to white folks. So,
No,
going to. Well, go ahead, Earl.
well, I just want to say this is going to be the part where I'm just going to throw out the fact that the one thing black men can count on is black women going to lie to them and lie on them. That is something you can, I'm going to leave it right there. Go ahead, Mrs. Z.
No, so Kev is right. What I'm big in the cars, Kev. What it is you are the beater car, and the Captain Americas of the world, even if he wasn't famous and wasn't rich, he's the Bentley. And who doesn't want to be seen in a Bentley? So the white man has become, and I know enough to see that in this respect, this is not exclusive to black women, although they're the loudest about it. White men have become the Bentley for women around the planet, and they all want to be seen in that. Now, going to what you're saying, Kev, it's not necessarily that they respect him anymore. Some of them will be more submissive to him, but it's not even about that. It's really that I want to be seen in that Bentley. He's a status symbol. And so black women are being louder about it than these other groups of women. But at the end of the day, that is the gold standard, especially in America. Y'all watch any one of these documentaries, and you see these white dudes going overseas, though these non-black women are falling over them. Yes, obviously it's because they're Western and these women think that the resources are like instantly gonna start raining down on them because they're with this Western man and white is associated with Western. But yeah, that Kev, what you're saying is definitely reflected in what we see in the media. But it's in that respect, it's bigger than a black thing. Obviously, we're focused on the black community, but in that respect, when it comes to white men's positionality in this society and what women across the board are willing to do to be in proximity, associated with, and married into that, if what Sheryl Sandberg said was right, which is the fastest way to wealth is marriage for women, then you imagine if white men, quote unquote, are supposed to be the men of means in this society, which actually, at least in America, it's Asian men, but nobody cares. If that's the case, then you gotta know that they're going after that, full stop. And I forgot what I was gonna address what Rod said. I'll get back to that later if I can remember.
Image is more important than anything to them. So the white man still has that image, and they want to be attached to that white man image. But I'm pretty much done. I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. But I just want to, what I'm saying, I'm just looking at it from a Dr. Umar perspective. When you push black community stuff, you can't have a black community unless the men are willing to be with the women. And when you already have an issue because you got more than 50% of the men who are single and childless. That's not gonna grow a community. You got to get past that. And I want to get past it too, but I'm gonna push the truth. There's things that need to be corrected. If we can't correct them, you ain't gonna get past it. But if you are in Dr. Umar's position, reality is giving you a hard job. I'll just say that. But I think the wise thing for him, stick to the school. Just stick to the school.
I'll agree with Raj on that, but it's going to be difficult because you want to bring those black boys in, and the women are actually doing you a severe disservice, right? Because they're showing you that regardless of your efforts, what they really want is they want rich, dumb lames, rich, naive lames. And we all understand this. I'm not saying anything new or revolutionary, but Dr. Umar is going to have a major issue with this. He's on the wrong side of history. He's on the wrong side of history, and it's going to be real difficult for him to really comprehend how far he's on the wrong side of history. Because I think a man of doctorate degree, he's a speaker, he travels around the country. He more than likely has a grasp of what's going on. But it's really difficult for him to address that, especially if you have a heart for black women, which I would argue most of us in this space still kind of do. You you still want to say, well, is it really what we think it is? You know? And you see, even when I speak, I put things in a larger context because just to explain if they're not paying attention, how they can fall into certain behaviors, right? But what Dr. Umar Johnson is doing is he's pretty much sacrificing himself for a group of women that still are insulting him and belittling him, right? Who still are insulting the very boys that he wants to help, which low key is insulting their own sons, belittling their sons' fathers, their own fathers, right? And Dr. Umar is going to have a real difficult time trying to garner, so especially now that he's thrown his hat in on what he feels and thinks about this situation, it's going to be really difficult to garner enough support from black men when you're defending the same women that are telling those men that they're not worthy of basic respect. Forget forget worthy of marriage. Forget all of that. Let's throw all of that out the window. Basic respect. These women are outright saying these men ain't worthy of basic respect. We shouldn't even have their children. They're not worthy of marriage. They're not. How do you get those same men to now support your school when the women who are having these children in wedlock, out of wedlock, regardless, are telling you, we don't care nothing about these black boys. We don't care nothing about these black men. We
I,
were doing
I,
lip service about it.
I
Mhm.
was just gonna say that myself. All these women with these sons, they ain't putting the money up for that school.
Uh-oh.
They could, but they ain't.
And that's one of the major issues. And like you said, I would much rather him had just shut up about this one. Just don't say anything about this one, right? Because
He can't still can. He can just stop talking now. He can just back away.
I don't think it's possible, but now he with ego and pride, now you're somewhat compelled to get and keep going back and forth. The problem is you can't actually sit down with Kevin now because I guarantee you Kevin would sit down with him. I guarantee you Kevin would sit down with him. And it's going to be really, and if that was to happen, Dr. Umar isn't dumb and Kevin isn't dumb. How do you have a knee to knee type of conversation with a brother? You know, when y'all close enough, y'all knees almost touching, and y'all looking each other in the
You know what?
face, and the mic. Go ahead.
I'm gonna suggest we move away from that. Well, I mean, we do it however you want to do it, but I'm gonna say this:
Mhm.
if somebody wants to reach Kevin Samuels, they know how already. It's not a
Yeah,
mystery. His
yeah.
information's out there. They know how to get in contact with their brother.
Man, it'll be difficult because now you can't. There's no hiding behind a screen. The man gonna ask you questions, and he's gonna put you on the spot. And where you have to acknowledge what we all clearly see. And what Umar is gonna be forced to say is niggas are supposed to sacrifice yourself for these wayward women. And he know he can't say that shit. That's what he's gonna be. Kevin's gonna put him in the position to say, I don't care how fucked up they are. I don't care what they say about you. I don't care how they're either helping to build the tools to screw you, or they're building them themselves, or they're taking the tools other people build to hammer you with. I don't care what they do. It's still up to you to sacrifice yourself for these wayward women who will still insult you after you're dead and gone, right? I think BGS brings it up all the time. Women of the South whose men lost the Civil War, who fought on the wrong side of history, who lost the Civil War, still advocated to build monuments all across, not just the South, but all around the country for the losing side. Jewish women were on the were right next to Jewish men when they were walking into them gas chambers, when they were boarding those trains to Auschwitz. And from my understanding, you did not hear Jewish women then or now talking about how Jewish men wasn't shit. Oh, y'all lost. Y'all let these Germans kill us. Blah blah blah. Y'all was chasing after these Ashkenazi Jews, and y'all were chasing. That's why we even got Ashkenazi Jews in the first place, because y'all were chasing after these white women. You don't hear Jewish women saying that. You don't hear Japanese women talking about how Japanese men lost to the Americans. You don't hear that. But for our women, it's perfectly okay to outwardly say how black men are losers. Y'all losing to the white man. Y'all losing to all these different men. What's the difference between these group of women being quote unquote with the men that were losing or are losers, and with black men? What your contempt for black men and these women? What's the difference? And Dr. Umar can't address that, especially not in front of Kevin. It would have been easy if Kevin was some, dummy, but you're dealing with another man that's well spoken. He understands what's going on the planet. He's well versed in history. I could see that he understands things politically. How do you address that?
Well, let me put it to you like this. Dr. Umar is probably going to follow the path that everybody's going to follow. Everybody eventually follows. They'll beat that drum hard as fuck until they run into that brick wall, just like Iona Van Zant, and finally just say, fuck it. Y'all a problem. I'm getting tired of y'all, Nick. I'm getting tired of y'all BWs. It's going. If somebody got YouTube playing in the background.
No, I'm on my phone. Ain't nothing going on in the background.
Okay, I try not to let it distract me too much then. Oh, there it is. It's gone. But that's what he's going to end up running into. I mean, he's going to go on this path. He's going to throw up all these virtue signals. My beautiful black sister, blah, blah, blah. But when he finally gets enough of those problems, just like Rebecca Lynn Pope at one point, just like Iona Van Zant and what she's recently said about, how black women carry themselves, then he's gonna come out and say that shit again. Like, just like Tyler Perry, how he advocated for the fuckery, and then he finally came out and said that one of his main problems were black women, coming at him the way they do. Even with Ricky Smiley, who's simped in the past. He was talking about, like a little advice on social media that he gives to his nephew. And he said that the main people questioning him and trying to hate on him about it were black women.
Like, Kev, they still not going at it the way they need to, the way Kevin is. Iyanla Vanzant, okay, remember she mentioned how one of the reasons why she's stepping down is because people were talking so much about it. They're not hearing the message. They're worried about how she's dressed, her hair. We all know when she says that, she ain't talking about larger society. She's not talking about black men. She's not talking about the black community. She's talking about black women, and she still didn't say it. Right? When was it Gabby, the Olympian, that Gabby went out Douglas. Overseas? Yeah, Gabby Douglas, and people were making fun of her hair. Who was making fun of her hair? Was it black man? It was definitely not no straight black man. We all know who it was, but nobody want to say black women was out here. They're listening to Iyanla Vanzant, and then they're making fun of her hair instead of taking the message. Gabby Douglas is over here competing at a high level against other people on the planet, winning medals, right? Up until what's her name came into the scene, Gabby Douglas was killing the game.
Simone Biles.
Yeah,
Bowles.
it's Simone Biles, right? Gabby was killing the game. And instead of y'all focus on this young lady who's actually giving y'all a good image around the world, right? She's chill, she's meek. You don't hear no bad press about her. Y'all worried about this girl's hair. And they made it seem like, oh, people are talking about her hair. No, 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 no. Black women were talking about her hair. We need people to start saying it so we can understand that these are the people that you asking black men to kill themselves over. And I'll pause right there.
Yeah, but yeah, that those are facts, Mr. Z. We are required as black men, and I mean, not even so much required is expected. You know, required is putting it in the victim category, but we are expected to take BWs no matter who they are, no matter what shape they're in. I mean, you know, it's a take me as I am mentality. You know, take me as I am, take the attitude, and then you take the attitude, and when you accept, which where a lot of men fuck up at, if you put up with it, that's a green light for them to do anything they want afterwards. Men have to stop that. But anyway, we're gonna do final statements. I'm getting tired, and you know it's gonna be another busy one tomorrow. And you know
I'll, I'll
I'm gonna be back tomorrow night. So whichever
I'll
one of
go ahead
y'all.
and put my final statement in. I'll let Raj get the final statement, I guess. But thanks for letting me on, Kev, man. Y'all was I was with y'all on my ride home. And this this first fifth of the 20th century that we just came through, 21st century, excuse me, that we just came through, man. We only 20 years in, well, 21 years, but 20 years in, y'all. Social media on this level is what? Let's start it at MySpace. I know for a lot of you older brothers, y'all, like I said this before, y'all had all those chat boxes and in the 90s and stuff, those chat rooms. But let's start this level of social media at MySpace. What's that? Oh 01, oh 02 maybe? Look at all of the information people have been able to gather over the past 20 years. It's insane. And what we're seeing is people's contempt for other people, people's rage for other people. Like Raj was saying, you can't delete it no more. Well, it can't be deleted. YouTube can delete it, but it can't be edited out that quickly anymore. Because you delete it off of YouTube, we'll just go post it somewhere else, right? And women, black women are showing you something, Dr. Umar. Believe them. Believe them. That's if you don't already. That's if you're not playing a role already, right? I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, at least in front of everyone else, that you kind of don't understand. But believe what you're seeing. Kevin ain't doing nothing crazy. Like Rod said, he just recorded himself talking to these women. And they're the ones who's telling you they have contempt for you. And they're the ones who's insulting men. Kevin's not doing it. He's literally asking them basic questions and not letting them give him an obscure answer, one of those non-answer answers. That's all he's doing, forcing them to give him a definitive answer. And when they give a definitive answer, what they're telling you is, I just want the resources of a man, I want the security of a man, and I occasionally want good sex from a man. Other than that, he serves no purpose. We really got to work on our language, and that includes Dr. Umar if he doesn't have it, which I'm pretty sure he does because he's a doctor. We have to work on our language at showing that women are just as capable of objectifying men as men are of objectifying women. We really got to work on that, right? We're no longer in 1950 or 40 something. They're not these helpless victims. They never were, but that was the narrative. Y'all really got to update y'all language when it comes to women. And a lot of brothers like Dr. Umar, some older brothers, they have a problem. Men in general have a problem speaking like we're in the 21st century, and women are just as capable as men when it comes to getting jobs, when it comes to getting promotions, when it comes to making money, when it comes to their day-to-day activities. They're just as capable as men. you know. So I'll end with that. Dr. Umar, Angela Yee, Envy, y'all gotta stop pretending like women aren't human beings, like they're not self-interested also, like they're not selfish also, like they can't be monsters also, you know. And once again, Kev, thanks for having me up. Raj, I'll holler at you later, man. And this was a good convo. All right, y'all.
All right, thank you, Mr. Z. Mr. Z, I've seen him speak before. He's a regular on the Roger Report, the best show on social media, Monday through Friday morning. Now, Roger, what's going on, man? You got a final statement?
Ah, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Um, now I'm gonna say this. Yeah, I suggest we be careful on what we say. Again, Kevin ain't forced nobody to do anything. Kevin just have conversation with people that happen to call in. Um, Kevin of Black Men Being Brutally Honest has had conversation with women who happen to call in. I myself have had conversation with women who happen to call in. Ain't nobody forcing nothing on these women. They are who they are because they want to be who they are. Just is what it is. Now, what people do with the information is their business. Ain't nobody did nothing to nobody. You know, ain't nobody attacked them. Ain't nobody forced them to go to a platform. Ain't nobody put no gun to their head. They have a right to feel any way they want to feel. And it's nothing wrong with us as a people just accepting how they feel. They're telling us if we respect them, we'd accept what they're saying. I'm not mad at no woman who don't want to date no black man. I ain't mad at her. I just want to make sure I don't date her. That's all. I don't want to be her placeholder, and I don't want to be misused by her. That's all. If she don't want to date a black man, I'm absolutely fine with that. I just don't want to be bothered with her. So the quicker I know, the better it is for me. It's not a big deal. But again, if you have random women from all over the country that keep saying certain things toward black men, the issue is the fact that how you gonna get the black men to do certain things, because men have often been more of a minimalist than women have been. Men don't take much.
Minimalist, goddamn Chicago.
Yeah, yeah. Men don't require a whole lot most of the time. We get stuff because we understand we provide for others. But if you live in a world where men only took care of themselves, you're not going to see a bunch of big fancy mansions out there. I'm not saying some wouldn't exist, but dudes ain't gonna do it that much. We are work, but it wouldn't be to the extent that we do because we know we have children and women that's gonna be involved. That's just what it comes down to at the end of the day. So if a man is not gonna be able to get respect no matter what he does, that's fine, in my opinion. It's just other people don't want that man to know he's not going to get respect no matter what he does, because they understand if men found that out from a general standpoint, and I'm talking about black men, if black man found that out from a general standpoint, then the stereotypes they say about us may actually come true. You know, they put a lot of propaganda out there to make us sound negative, but if we actually uh, you know, from an overall standpoint, say, oh, okay, no matter what we do, it ain't gonna be good enough. Don't nobody want that effect, because things have changed very quickly. If the general black man accepted that understanding, it'll change very quick, and it ain't gonna be in the way that some of them gonna like it.
All right, Roger. And speaking to some of what you just said, yeah, respect really, honestly, is something that we shouldn't have to negotiate and, you know, have to argue about. You know, we understand as black men that we were always taught that we had to earn the respect, that it wasn't automatic. But something else that isn't automatic is disrespect either. So, you know, you have to go above and beyond to disrespect someone.
and then turn around and say that they have to earn your respect. That shit is just absurd. And respect is very important to black men, no matter how black men slice it or not, whether they're getting respected or disrespected. Now, you can't keep gaslighting black men and saying the reason why she doesn't respect you is because of you. Sometimes legitimately it's because you are a black man, and that's something that we, and I'm sure Mr. Z and I'm sure Roger have realized growing up in this kind of world, being the skin color that we are, is that we have to earn the respect. And it's a damn shame that we are used to, as black men, not getting a lot of that respect from our own women when they expect us to respect them no matter what they do. And that's a lot of what Kevin Samuels has exposed, within us. Like, notice no one was really saying anything about him when he was doing this to guys. And he got real wildly popular when he started taking female callers. The one thing that people don't want to admit is that people are highly interested in the input of females when it comes to these kinds of conversations. Because some people, I ain't gonna lie to you, are bent on proving that females are the problem. And just by observing how these females carry themselves, sometimes they do prove that they are the problem. But at the end of the day, as black men and black men, the bottom line is that we do need to find some kind of way to work together, or we're just all in trouble. The shame in the matter, the shame in all of this is that this man gets attacked so much just basically for telling us some uncomfortable truths that we need to deal with. The difference between comforting lies and uncomfortable truths is that you'll deal with comforting lies forever, but it'll fuck you up when that uncomfortable truth finally comes in. And it's not just Kevin Samuels. A lot of us have been telling these truths, because we just got the platform to do it, because we understand that there's a lot of damage that's been done that needs to be reversed. Do we overall, as black men, want a better relationship with the black woman? Yes, we do. But when you have people like Dr. Umar and DJ Envy and their lack of knowledge and somewhat subtle ignorance, especially on DJ Envy's part, that is a problem. Guys with outreach that can say things. And believe me, the decision will be made about the Black Manosphere before any of these people get to the Black Manosphere. Speaking of something that Roger was saying earlier, as far as tying Kevin Samuels to the Black Manosphere, whoever does that needs to be careful with that. Because really, honestly, I'm going to say this, with a lot of the bigger guys with the bigger channels and the bigger followings, mentioning the Black Manosphere for them only makes sense business-wise. Honestly, the people who follow the Black Manosphere, you guys are you're the real MVPs. You're the guys that indirectly make this space what it is. And for those of you who follow it and respect the space, we do appreciate it. But the biggest mistakes that people like DJ Envy and Dr. Umar makes is they hear one side of it and then they make their decision right then and there. And it's usually that kind of thing is because they're afraid to tell the female, hey, maybe I need to look at this from both sides. They jump into this little virtue signaling mode and end up saying stupid shit that actually might get them sued. Especially, like I said, especially on DJ Envy saying what he said. These guys are public figures that have to act a bit more responsibly when you say things about people. And that goes for any of us that are in this space or on the outside looking in hating. You have to act responsibly, or you can get yourself in a world of shit because you underestimated a group of guys that you chose to be your opposition. Interesting things to come, people. So that'll be it for me tonight. Tune in tomorrow night. No doubt it'll be another interesting one. Thank you for being so welcoming after I've been gone for some weeks. I appreciate that, audience. And thank you for all the likes, and thank you for the super chat. That's it for tonight. Long live the habitual line steppers. In Kev we trust. Goodbye.